journey to excellence begins. It's Green Bay Packers preseason football on the Packers TV network.
Welcome to a beautiful night at Lambeau Field in Green Bay for the second preseason game as the Packers take on the Oakland Raiders. And a pleasant good evening, everyone, with former NFL MVP Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan. Thank you so much for joining us. Packers winning last week 17-11 over the Cleveland Browns. They played without Aaron Rodgers last week, and Rich, they're going to play without Aaron tonight against Oakland.
And Kevin, I'm not surprised. I don't think it makes any sense to throw him out there against Khalil Mack and the Oakland Raiders. It's a very good defense. He's going to have two opportunities in the last two preseason games against San Francisco and Kansas City. He's had plenty of reps in training camp. No sense throwing him out there risking injury.
We saw a couple of rookie free agent quarterbacks last week. Tonight, we get to see a healthy number 2 quarterback, the regular season backup, Brett Hundley.
Yeah, nursed an ankle injury at the beginning part of training camp. I'm excited to see him play. I thought he played really well last preseason, led the NFL in preseason passing numbers, 2 for 7 touchdowns, just the 1 interception. He looked really sharp, and although he didn't play last year, was inactive for all 16 games, he gained valuable experience watching Aaron Rodgers prepare and play. And of course, Eddie Lacy needs to build on last week's performance, coming off a very disappointing 2015 campaign. I thought he ran the ball with some power. He was physical. He was finishing runs. He showed some of that explosiveness that we saw from him back in 2014.
So he had a successful night last week, and we also saw some success on the defense, Rich, with 2 safeties and 4 sacks against the Browns offense.
I really liked the way they came out and played defensively. They were physical. They were the more aggressive team. They played with the greater purpose. They got things started with a big interception by Micah Hyde down around the goal line. I just thought their pursuit to the football, the way they tackled, the way they got after the quarterback. Both quarterbacks really struggled. Were unable to set their feet and really trust the protection, and they did a terrific job. They need to build on that tonight against a quarterback that put up some huge numbers his first 2 seasons.
We are 1 week closer to the start of the regular season. It's preseason game number 2. The Green Bay Packers, the Oakland Raiders. Our kickoff is next. It's about 80 degrees at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. The Raiders and the Green Bay Packers. The temperature will drop. The winds will stay the same. Let's quickly check in on the sideline with Lance Allen.
Kevin, thank you very much. And I think everyone got very, very excited when they saw Jordy Nelson in pads during warm-ups. Well, right now, he's back in warm-ups. Yes, he will not dress this evening. He will not play this evening, but he did come off the physically unable to perform list and did pass his physical earlier, just a couple of days ago. So it is looking better and better for him to come back, and there is a chance that he will practice on Saturday. So good news for the Packers, good news for the wide receiver Jordy Nelson as he comes back from that knee injury almost exactly 1 year ago, August 23rd. Kevin, Rich, back up to you guys.
Lance, thank you. Rich, it was not the surgically repaired knee that was it was the other knee that was working almost too much, and they've had to kind of get those things on equal footing.
Yeah, I know he's chomping at the bit, Kevin, to get back out there. Let me just throw something out. Yards per attempt is a significant stat for any passing game. After finishing 1st, 5th, 2nd, and 2nd in the NFL from 2011 to 2014. Last year, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers finished 30th. So the explosive plays and the downfield efficiency were really hurt by Jordy's absence from the lineup. I mean, that's where he can really help this football team, his ability to stretch the field vertically.
Well, the Packers won the toss. They will receive. A look at Jordy Nelson right there. Maybe next week too, for Aaron Rodgers. Sebastian Janikowski kicking off for the Raiders. Deep back is the rookie Trevor Davis. He's a 5th-round pick out of Cal. He knows the Raiders well, and he takes it out to about the 25-yard line. The tackle was made by George Atkinson, a reserve running back. It is a 25-yard return. This takes us to the quarterback, 2nd year, Brett Hundley, a drafted kid out of UCLA a season ago in the 5th round.
And Kevin, you and I were just talking before the game. I mean, he served as the number 3 quarterback last season, was inactive for all 16 regular season contests behind Scott Tolzien. This is his opportunity to show Mike McCarthy, show Ted Thompson, really show his teammates that he's ready to be the backup quarterback here in Green Bay.
The center remains J.C. Tretter. We saw him start last week. He starts again for the injured Lindsley, and on 1st and 10, Hundley. Off to Witkowski, the fullback. And he's up to the 39-yard line, hit by a couple, including Malcolm Smith. A catch and run of 13 to the Green Bay 39.
That's a good way for the Packers to start. Remember, they came out last week and ran the ball a bunch on that first series. And you got a very big defensive line. That's what the Raiders have. Jack Del Rio believes in having big men up front. So this will be a good challenge, I think, for the Packers front, not just in terms of the protections, but their ability to move the big men off the ball in the running game.
Get the fullback and the single tight end, 1st and 10. Other side, Ripkowski drops it. With the coverage on the play by Carl Joseph, their first-round pick out of West Virginia.
Same play the other way. I mean, if you have the success and you're able to stretch the field a little bit. And the other important thing, Kevin, you look at some of these play calls early. I want to get the young quarterback off to a good start. High percentage throws early. Get him in a rhythm.
No more John Kuhn. He was let go. He's with New Orleans now. 2nd down and 10. Looking into the Raider 34 is quarterback Brett Hundley. Eddie Lacy, room to roam into the secondary and down to the Raider 42. A gallop of 20. He looked good last week in 4 carries. Looks good in his first one right there.
Well, you get the movement up front, and look at this hole for Eddie Lacy. Remember now, they ran this play a couple times and kept the stretch play off of it. Now they actually hand the ball to Eddie Lacy. He's up into the secondary. If you're a safety, you don't want to see number 27 come screaming at you downhill.
Good block by Treader, too, on that play. Here's a 1st and 10 handoff. It goes to Lacy. Brought down by Justin Ellis on a gain of 3 to the Raider 38.
And it's good to see J.C. Treader in there, Kevin. He had a terrific year a couple years ago, and again, the injury set him back some, but just getting him back out there. And Mike talked to us earlier today about combinations. He wants to see combinations of players playing together, especially along the offensive and defensive lines.
That's Alberto in motion, 2nd down and 7. Lacy. He got a block in the play by Rogers. He takes it for 5. He's brought down by Joseph. He takes it just shy of the 1st down to the Raider 33.
We talk about a back that runs hungry, and this is what you want to see from Eddie Lacy. When look at good block by the tight end Rogers there, a good kick out, and you can see Lacy finishing. But his ability to finish runs, his ability to have some stamina late in the game.
Offensive substitution, therefore the defense gets a chance to match
Bill
up.
Vinovich is our referee. Packers tried to get back to the line in a hurry.
The ability to jump the football, be able to call multiple plays and formations and substitutions. That's really what hurt them last year. Mike gave up the play calling responsibilities. And when you're calling plays from up in the booth, it's a lot different than when you're calling them on the sidelines. And I think Mike was so good at doing it, one of the best in the business. I think it surprised all of us, Kevin, when he gave those responsibilities up last year to Tom Clements.
Sort of affected his own feel for the tempo with Cobb in. Green Bay's taking a timeout.
This is not the way they want to start the game. They pride themselves in having great communication, not having to burn timeouts early in a game.
Big plays, 13-yard catch and run. Ripkowski, Lacy for 20, into Raider territory with the timeout.
This Packers preseason game is sponsored by Chevrolet, Mills Fleet Farm, Ticketmaster, Verizon, and Carmex.
Rich Packers took a timeout. 3rd and 2 coming up. You think this is 4-down territory?
Yeah, absolutely. We saw plenty from Mason Crosby last week, Kevin. He's really kicked the ball well in training camp. You've got a young quarterback out there. You burn a timeout early. You've got the ball 3rd and 3 at the 33-yard line. I really think this is 4-down territory. You come up a yard short here. I'd be surprised the Packers don't go for it here in the preseason.
Alberto, the 3rd wide receiver. 5 in the Raiders secondary. 3rd and 2. Then Heaney, the linebacker, was moving up in that line. Here comes Lacy. He's got the 1st down. He takes a couple on his back. He's brought down by McGee. He picks up 6. 1st down to the Raider 27.
And you can really see the quickness off the ball from the Packers offensive line. There's some big men up there in those white jerseys, but the quickness and the ability to get up on the second level, the ability to cut off the backside in the running game has really served them well early in the game.
Or in the secondary, 7th play of the drive for Green Bay, 1st and 10. Lacy. On down in the play in the secondary by Sean Smith, the former Kansas City cornerback. He picks up 5 to the Raider 22.
I think you ask any offensive lineman what you'd prefer to do. Would you rather sit and pass protect for Aaron Rodgers, or would you rather go forward and be able to block a guy like Khalil Mack, a Pro Bowler, and knock him right backwards? That's what you want to do. You want to come out early and set the tempo and really control the line of scrimmage with your running game.
With a 2nd down and 5. Good fake by Hundley. On the move, looking for Adams. He was chased on the play by Bruce Irvin, former linebacker for Seattle. Incomplete. 3rd and 5 coming up.
You'll love to see Hundley there talk to the receiver about coming back to the football, especially when he gets outside containment. Raiders not doing a good job early with the play action boots and nakeds by Brett Hundley.
Packers were 2nd in first quarter scoring a season ago. Rich, they take pride in how they begin games in that category.
You'll want to start fast on offense and come out and put together a great drive and finish in this part of the field.
Into the nickel, 3rd and 5. Hundley. Maybe short of the 1st down, hit by Smith, grabbed by Davante Adams. He's close.
4 down territory.
It is indeed. They look like he's at the 16. And they do give him the 1st down. Yep, right there. Gain of about 6 on that play, and the drive continues with big plays by Ripkowski and Lacy on the drive so far.
Good to see Davante Adams get a catch early, Kevin. A bit of a sophomore slump last season, just 50 receptions. I think everyone was impacted by Jordy Nelson's absence.
Cook is the tight end with a 1st and 10. Lacy. Slowed down initially by Stacy McGee. They got in the secondary in a hurry, and there was no gain at 2nd and 10.
You're not going to bring down a big back like Eddie Lacy when you try and tackle him up around the numbers. He's such a powerful man. He can run through those arm tackles.
A lot of people talking about him and his weight. That was a big story last year, and it looks like he's lost weight, and he looks lighter on his feet.
He does. And Kevin, it's so important. We talked a little bit about this last week, and the extra 5 or 10 pounds doesn't sound like a lot, but on a running back the size of Eddie Lacy, it does have a huge impact, especially over the course of a season.
Tight end, bottom of your screen, 11 play. There is the tight end, Cook. It was 2nd down and 10, and he works his way close to a 1st down near the Raiders 6. As he lines up wide and finds the pass by Hundley right between the 8 and 9.
And that's the great thing about a tight end like Jared Cook, Kevin. Their ability to move him around in the formation. He doesn't have to be an inline player. You can put him in the slot. You can put him out wide. He's very comfortable working outside the numbers.
We saw the tight end used a lot last week.
Yeah, again, the more production you get at that position, I think the more we'll see those 2 and 3 tight end sets from the Packers.
1st and goal. Game opening drive. Lacy. Oh, look at him spin his way near the goal line. Just shy of a hard-earned 5 for Eddie Lacy.
Well, they're really playing well up front. We talked about Treader and Josh Sitton, Bulaga, TJ Lang. Look at the movement they're getting up front with those singles and those double teams. And then once Lacy's in the hole, look at all those guys finishing. Look at them all pushing Lacy in the back, trying to get him over the goal line.
Bring in Richard Rodgers, the 2 tight ends for Green Bay. 2nd and goal at the 1. Changes on the defense for the Raiders. Sticking with 4 in the secondary.
Got them all packed in there. Look at the Raiders. They got them all packed inside.
Lacy. And not get across. Stuffed in there. Carl Joseph, who starts for a 2nd consecutive game. The rookie out of West Virginia, among a couple in there for Oakland.
It was a really good stop. I mean, look, Lacy was going to score here. Nice job by the safety. He comes up in there. He gets a helmet on him. Carl Joseph, their top draft pick a season ago or this season. Good stop. Nice job sticking the helmet up in there and keeping Lacy out of the end zone.
Two tight ends. Ripkowski, the fullback, is in. Third and goal at the 1. On a drive that has lasted over 7 minutes. Lacy here, up. And thrown on bodies and a touchdown. A leap of a yard. Only one leap per touchdown. He leapt right there. He won't leap into the stands, but he puts the Packers on top 6-0.
This is what you want to see from Eddie Lacy. A bunch of touches early. We talked about gaining the momentum, the confidence in the running game. It's been a point of emphasis the entire offseason.
Lacy had a big run on that drive of 20. They got Ripkowski for a catch and run of 13. Cook caught one for 10. Lacy Rich on that drive, 9 carries and 45 yards.
This is what you want to see from him, Kevin. Getting a lot of opportunities, a lot of touches early as he regains his confidence from a season ago.
Mortel, the rookie free agent, with the hold, and Crosby converts the extra point as he did every kick last year. Lacy converted 2 third and shorts, including this one going airborne into the Raider D, and puts the Packers on top 7-0. Aiming for balance. That was a 14-play game-opening drive engineered by Hundley.
You wouldn't think a play caller like Mike McCarthy, that's had so much success in the passing game with Aaron Rodgers, the best quarterback in football, but he really believes passionately in the running game. He knows how important it is to the overall success of this offense, really to this football team. And it really starts up front, and it starts with Eddie Lacy. 9 runs, 5 passes, a 14-yard drive, 74 yards. That was an impressive way to start against the Raiders.
Mason Crosby, the ensuing kickoff, and Taiwan Jones on the move, 4 yards deep, and here he comes for the Oakland Raiders, and he finds a seam. And then he was hit by Quentin Rollins. 33-yard return. The Raiders get it when we come back. Eddie Lacy knowing who pays the bills. The guys up front, and his coach likes every part of that. Guyan, part of the defensive line for the Packers, is Daniels. He was the best player on the Packers probably a season ago. They line up. Here come the Raiders, Rich. 1st and 10. First time they've got the ball tonight. And Derek Carr is their young quarterback they're excited about.
They are. He's a talented player, Kevin. His numbers over the first 2 years are off the charts. Now has 32 starts under his belt. Chance for him to really take the next step in year 3.
With a 1st and 10 out of the backfield. He looks to the side and finds Michael Crabtree. He picks up 4, the former San Francisco high draft pick. He's up to the Raider 33.
Well, this will be a good challenge for this Green Bay defense. The secondary, they've got great speed on the perimeter at the wide receiver position with Michael Crabtree and Amari Cooper. And Kevin, they have spent a ton of money on their offensive line over the last 2 years. Rodney Hudson, Coleccio Semele, Donald Penn, all free agent acquisitions over the last 2 seasons, trying to get bigger and stronger up front in front of their young quarterback.
Tavius Murray is in the backfield, a 1,000-yard rusher a year ago. 2nd down 6. Here is Murray, brought down on the play by Mike Daniels. Led the defensive line in tackles a season ago. He picks up 2. Flag is thrown. He's up to the 35.
That's going to be a penalty on Jones. Just losing his cool there for a minute, getting blocked by a tight end. Didn't like it.
After the play was over, personal foul. Defense number 95. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
He just can't have it. And he's just pushing after the whistle. You see right at the top of your screen here. Throws him to the ground. He gets up. Now watch him jack him up right underneath the helmet. They called for that every time.
Tight end Lee Smith, who played at Buffalo. Now to midfield.
Lee Smith's in there, Kevin, to block, not to catch passes.
1st and 10. Olawale's in motion out of the backfield. Time, Penn the block at the tackle. Here comes Murray. Down he goes. Good pursuit on the play, and that's good to see from Sam Barrington. Throws him for a 4-yard loss. He came off the PUP list last week, major foot surgery last fall.
Yeah, they need these young linebackers to step up inside and really play well, tackle well. Mike talked about what he wants from the linebackers in his defense. Guys that can run, that can hit, and can tackle for no gain. Yards after contact, something you always check yourself defensively and make sure at the linebacker position when you hit a back, he goes down.
Packers in the nickel right now, second down 14 for Derek Carr, and here comes Murray. Good drive inside. Blake Martinez, who had the first team reps last week. There's a gain of 3. Allowing that up to the 49-yard line. Martinez is the 4th round draft choice out of Stanford.
And you can see him. He's the one making all the communication calls. The call comes down from Dom Capers now in the booth into his helmet. And clearly it's not too big for him. I thought he played well last week, Kevin. Handled the assignments well. And guy that can run around and make plays in space in the middle of that defense.
He can handle as a rookie. You feel pretty, and so does Mike.
Yeah, I don't think it's too big for him. He comes from a big program at Stanford. He was asked to do a lot in that system. He can handle the responsibility.
6 in the secondary, 3rd and 11. Raiders need the Green Bay 40, and they go for Cooper. He is as good a young receiver as there is in the NFL. 1,000-yard and a Pro Bowl receiver a season ago. He works to the 31, picks up 20 first down Raiders.
This is a really good throw and catch. The defender not looking. They're able to squeeze that one in between by the time Chris Banjo can get his head around. But a really good throw there by Derek Carr.
Banjo, as we mentioned last week, led special teams and tackle, but he clearly is on the bubble on this Packers secondary roster now.
Well, they're looking for players with versatility, players that can play down inside in the nickel and the dime, and players that can blitz off the edge and also cover.
1st and 10, Murray with a tackle from behind. Good grab there by Nick Perry, the former first-round pick out of SC. It is a gain of 2 down inside the 30.
You're going to see Perry right here. He's going to chase it down from behind. Good effort. We talk about closing on the backside, making sure that there's no reverses or nakeds or boots, but the ability to close down the line of scrimmage. Good instinctive play there by Perry.
Seth Roberts, another receiver out there for the Raiders. Packers are in the nickel, 2nd and 8. Carr, bump fake to Cooper. And then he finally gets it, then driven out of bounds by Quentin Rollins. It is a gain of a yard, played it well, knocked him out of bounds at the Green Bay 28.
I thought it was interesting, Kevin, when you and I sat down with Mike McCarthy earlier today. He talked about last week against the Browns. He said the phone booth plays, when the Browns tried to pack him in and run the football, he felt the Packers really played well. It needs to be better in terms of the space plays. When an offense spreads you out with their personnel, and they get an empty backfield set, or they get in 4 wide receiver sets where they really spread you out and make you match up and play man-to-man. He felt that was an area where they need to be better tonight against the Raiders.
Banjo is in, 6 defensive backs. 3rd and 7. Derek Carr found his receiver, and it's incomplete, looking for Seth Roberts. There was coverage on the play by Quentin Rollins. Banjo in the vicinity as well. It's 4th and 7. They will try for a Janikowski field goal.
And between Randall and Rollins, Kevin, the ability for one of those players to go down and play inside, and that's the other thing Mike talked about. He said they haven't had that dynamic playmaker inside since Charles Woodson, a guy that can blitz there, can play the run, show up and run support, can play man-to-man. Playing inside in the slot is a totally different world in the National Football League.
Janikowski had a 53-yard field goal last week against Arizona. He nails his 46-yarder, and the Raiders are on the board. A look at Jack Del Rio. Raiders a season ago, 7-9. They score on their first possession. Timeout at Lambeau in Green Bay. Jack Del Rio took his team to a 7-9 record. He's excited about that. Rich and I have talked and known him for years. One of the things he's really excited about tonight, his son was just named the new starting quarterback for the Florida Gators. Sophomore Luke Del Rio will open for the Gators this fall.
And Kevin, how about you and I watching Luke on the field with his dad playing catch before games when he was in grade school? Isn't it amazing to think now all of a sudden he's the starting quarterback for the University of Florida?
Jack, who grew up in the Bay Area, proud of his family. Here's the long kickoff, and they will leave it in the end zone with Micah Hyde. They'll step aside. Both teams scoring in their opening possession. Mentioned this earlier tonight, but Hundley was inactive for all of last season. Scott Tolzien was the backup. Now this year, Hundley is the backup.
And Kevin, you and I are just talking off the air about what a great opportunity this is. You know, I was a backup quarterback at a point in my career, and you don't get a chance to play with the ones very often. You got the starting offensive line out there. You've got some receivers. You've got, you know, a veteran running back like Starks. This is a great opportunity for Brett Hundley.
Starks is in. That's the call. Starting offensive line is still in there for the Packers. There's no gain on the play. He stays at the 25 this year. Kickoffs that are caught in the end zone and left in the end zone, ball out to the 25 as opposed to the 20 before.
And it makes a big difference for an offense, an extra 5 yards. Certainly statistics bear that out. But Kevin, getting back to Brett Hundley, I just think that we usually see the most improvement with young quarterbacks from year 1 to year 2. And this is a good experience for him to be able to get out there and get some valuable reps and really show the improvements that he has made. You can already see it right now with his feet. I think he's quieter in the pocket. I think he's more explosive coming away from center.
It's second down and 10. Starks here season ago. First out of bounds. Hit by Smith in the secondary among a couple, and he loses a yard on the play back to the 24. Hundley was the 5th round pick out of UCLA. First Bruin quarterback selected since Cade McCown back in 1999. And he set some passing records while with the Bruins in Los Angeles.
Isn't it amazing? You think back to the glory days at UCLA football, where all the terrific quarterbacks, and you know, they haven't had a lot in recent years. But the one thing that really jumped out to the Packer coaching staff when they evaluated Brett Hundley was his athleticism, his ability to make plays on the move outside the pocket.
Cobb in motion, 5 in the secondary, 3rd and 11. Brett Hundley. Good footwork and almost picked off and then grabbed on the carom by Ty Montgomery. How about that? Short of the first down, but a pretty good catch with a lot of grabbing going on inside, and the Packers send the punting unit out there.
I think Sean Smith gets a hand on this, the corner for the Raiders, and somehow the Packers are still able to. That's a great catch. Look at the concentration from Montgomery. Sean Smith clearly gets a hand on that football, but Montgomery finds a way to come down with it.
The punt coming up here from Tim Mastic. Heavy rush put on. Deep back, they've got DeAndre Washington, who is a reserve running back. And he's a rookie out of Texas Tech. It's a 13-yard return. It's a 36-yard punt. And the ball will be at about the 46-yard line. Mike's told us today he wants to see more out of this punting competition between Peter Mortel, the rookie free agent, and the incumbent Mastic.
I think he just wants to see someone grab hold of the situation and clearly be that guy. And I think, you know, they have opportunities in practice every day. They put them in these situations where you can try and evaluate them, but there's no better situation than these preseason games to see how they handle the pressure, see how they handle directional kicking, see how they handle those punts when you're in plus territory, those punts down inside the 20. Hard count.
That was a 1st and 10. We have 8 officials tonight, by the way. Normally 7. They're experimenting with 8 tonight.
False start. Offense number 70. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
And they caught him right there. That's Osemele, the former Baltimore Ravens starter.
We also have a developmental official working tonight, Kevin. Justin McInnes will work as the line judge. It's also an opportunity for these officials to get some reps, right, as they get ready for the regular season. And
move it back now to the 41-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 15. Packers still in the nickel. Derek Carr from Fresno State. Murray, nothing up the middle. They read it well. Looked like Dayton Jones got a hand in there and a gain of a yard up to the 42-yard line. When Carr was at Fresno State, one of his main targets was Davante Adams, the Green Bay wide receiver.
And Mike McCarthy told us that they watched a lot of film on Derek Carr because they were obviously studying Davante Adams. They had a great relationship. Put up a lot of points, a lot of big plays. Carr has that arm talent. He can really push the ball down the field, but they need to get the running game cranked up. It's been a point of emphasis. They were 28th in rushing last year. It was so bad. Their second leading rusher last year, Derek Carr.
The second quarter tonight sponsored by Menards. Save big money at Menards. Beautiful look at St. Norbert's. It's the preseason home of the Packers since the 50s. Not many teams have been in their location in that training camp at the same spot for so long, but Green Bay may be number one.
There's something special about that, even the loyalty too, and the fact that this whole community really embraces having the Packers, and even the training camp, the kids sharing their bikes with the players as they ride over to the practice facility. It's a pretty cool atmosphere up here in Green Bay.
First play of the second quarter. Roberts can't hold on. Big stick by Banjo, trying to fortify his position on this team on that 2nd and 14, now 3rd and 14.
Really nice anticipation by Banjo. Almost beats the receiver, Seth Roberts, to the ball. There's some really talented safeties in this secondary. Obviously, Morgan Burnett, Clinton Dix, and Banjo, as you mentioned, Kevin, just trying to find a role with this group in the secondary.
Morgan Burnett not suited up tonight. Getting the night off. 3rd and 14. They need the Green Bay 44. 6 in the secondary. Carr, Roberts, and he's got a convoy. Nice pursuit. Brought down, flag thrown. Gunter made the stop on a meager gain of 4. Well shy of the first. Flag is thrown. I'm guessing it's against the Raiders. The way they were pointing.
Pass interference. Offense number 15. Penalty declined. Result of the play. 4th down.
And they'll punt.
He's blocking downfield before the throw. Crabtree on the screen.
Dom Capers. We're talking about the communication Dom's using this year on defense.
Yeah, something new for him. Usually the play call would go down to the sidelines to someone like Winston Moss. He'd called into the player. Now that communication right from Dom Capers to the defensive player designated to where the communication system. So it should make them a little bit more efficient, get the calls in quicker, and give them time to adjust.
Marquette King to punt. Aberderis with the fair catch at the 11. Hang time of 4-3 punt of 44 yards. Aberderis was busy last week. Looks like he's going to be busy tonight. And with Jeff Janis going out now with the broken hand and subsequent surgery, that now elevates everybody behind him.
Yeah, an opportunity, Kevin, we always talk about the more you can do in the kicking game. You know, Aberderis is not going to be a starter at the wide receiver position, so he's going to have to make this team with his ability to make plays as a return man, as a coverage guy, and kickoff or punt cover. Looking for players that can play 4 downs.
It's 1st and 10. Hunley, the quarterback. 2nd string offensive line is now in for the first time tonight for Green Bay. And Starks, look at him gallop and take him outside the 30 into the 35. A run at 24. Nice run by Starks. First down, Green Bay.
Wow, really nice effort right up front here. You're going to see the movement at the point of attack, the double team with the center and the guard. You get the nose tackle out of the way. Starks very patient with his eyes, reading those linebackers and just finding a crease in the middle of that Raiders defense.
Second round pick, Spriggs the left tackle, Lane Taylor the left guard, Barkley is the center. 1st and 10. Starks again. Not a lot in there. The right tackle is Josh Walker, the 2nd-year player from Middle Tennessee State. There was no gain on that run right there.
Now we're starting to see some different combinations, Kevin, with this offensive line, players playing in different positions. You're going to make this unit up front. The more you can do, if you can play tackle, right tackle and left tackle, if you can play the guard position, if you can back up at the center position, the more you can do helps your opportunities to make this team.
Walker's actually playing the right guard. Kyle Murphy, the rookie out of Stanford, playing the right tackle. 2nd down and 10 with the offset eye, and Hunley back to throw. And deep for Adams, who is held, and he makes the catch. The defense by David Amerson, the former Redskin. The gain to the 33 of Oakland. 31-yard and here comes Hundley with the bad ankle already coming in and hobbling off, and they're going to bring in the rookie free agent Joe Callahan after the 31-yard completion.
Well, what he should have done, Kevin, was stay on the field. That's the wrong thing to do, to run off the field. It would have given Callahan a chance to get a couple snaps and to warm up a little bit and throw a little bit. So that's a mistake by an inexperienced player. If you get an injury like that at the quarterback position, you're better staying out there on the field and getting the play stoppage so that the backup quarterback has a chance to get ready.
Callahan is out of Division III. Wesley, here's a handoff in Starks, and he was hit up high by Khalil Mack, a Pro Bowler a season ago in a loss of a yard.
Oh, yeah, just that ankle again.
Yep.
You wonder if it's the same ankle or not. Just got rolled up on him in the back of it. Khalil Mack, the Pro Bowler, coming off the edge.
Second down 11. So Walker, who played tackle last week, is now at the right guard. Murphy again at the right tackle. Starks bounces outside. Irvin couldn't get him. Brought down in the secondary that time by Reggie Nelson. It is a gain of 5 to the 31 of the Raiders into the sideline, and Lance Allen.
All right, Kevin. Yes, Brett Hundley got rolled up from behind with his ankle, so obviously they are looking at that. Came off. Joe Callahan, obviously very alert, quickly got in after that completion, so they are looking at the ankle of Brett Hundley, and hopefully it's not anything serious, but no update as of yet. So looking at the ankle of Brett Hundley as he got rolled up on. Kevin, Rich, back up to you guys.
Third down and 7. Lance, thank you, from the Raider 31. They've got 5 in the Oakland secondary. Callahan, Cook, short of the first down by a yard to the 25.
A good alert play by Callahan. The Raiders blitz up inside. The rookie quarterback, great poise. He knows right where to go with the football. Throws it to his hot receiver, the tight end, down the middle. Hundley's already got the...
I think he's done.
He's already got the shoe off and the sock and the tape job, and looking at that left ankle.
4th and 1. Richard Rodgers has come in to join Cook at the tight end. Montgomery, bottom of your screen. 4th and 1. The fake and the throw, and incomplete. There was heavy pressure on the play by veteran Bruce Irvin. First year with the Raiders. And on downs, the Packers give up a promising drive to the Oakland Raiders.
This Packers preseason game is sponsored by Wisconsin Lottery, Menards, Wisconsin Dental Association, Toyota, Mills Fleet Farm, UW Health, and Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
Still out here at Lambeau in Green Bay. Packers giving up on downs. They lead in a 1-yard touchdown leap by Lacey. 7-3 over the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah, that last play, that's one that Joe Callahan would like to have back, Kevin. Be thinking about that one all night.
Number 1 offense still out there, including their starting quarterback, Derek Carr. 1st and 10. Latavius Murray for a block, and he got one on the play from Watson. Gain of 6.
Let's go back and take a look at the last play of the Packers drive. We talked about Joe Callahan. You've got to be, as a rookie quarterback, you've got to be able to make it through your progressions. And what happens is that they sometimes don't make it to the 2nd or 3rd read. Look at Montgomery. He's wide open on the boundary. By the time Callahan throws the football, the receiver is already out of bounds. The progression takes you to the tight end on the cross first, but then after that, you've got that receiver on the outside running that little comeback route. That's where the ball should have gone earlier.
Some starters out there for Green Bay's defense. A lot of second-teamers. 2nd down and 4. Murray. He is out of Central Florida. It is a gain of 5. He's up to the 36-yard line. That is a 1st down for Oakland.
You mentioned Kevin Murray had just a little over 1,000 rushing yards last season. And they need to be able to run the football behind their young quarterback, and they have not been able to do that the first 2 years in the league. It's one of the reasons why they went out and spent so much money on free agency with this offensive line, so they could try and develop a consistent running game. Put way too much pressure and too much emphasis on the passing game with the young quarterback in years 1 and 2.
Kenny Clark, the first-round pick, is out there on the line. Here's a little throw on the outside to Tywan Jones, brought down on the play, chased by Thomas. Loss of a yard, back to the 35. He had a couple guys out there with a good beat on him for the Packer D.
And I'm anxious to see him do more this week, Kevin. He got
Clark,
a chance
what are you talking
Clark
about?
got a chance to get his feet wet last week. Played a little bit too high. I think the speed of the game was a little bit much for him. And you're playing against, really good linemen. They can get their hands on you quick. He's got to play at the lower pad level. He's got to be able to come off with some explosiveness and a good punch and be able to use his hands and get off of blocks. That's going to be important for Clark.
Especially with B.J. Raji retired, they need him to step up. Second down, 11. Carr going deep and looking for Cooper and picked off on the play. Grabbed by Randall. He had 3 picks last year, returned 1 for a touchdown, and he was brought down by the tight end for the Raiders inside the Oakland 35. 33-yard return. The #1 pick a season ago, Demarius Randall.
It's funny when you watch this play, you got to ask yourself, who's the receiver and who's the quarterback? I mean, Demarius Randall looked like the receiver on that play. He was the more aggressive player. He goes up for the ball and catches it at the high point. Not a very good effort there by Amari Cooper. Carr just throws one up down the middle thinking that Cooper's going to go get it, and Demarius Randall comes down with it. Watch this coverage. This is great coverage. And looking to go up and get this football.
A little shove there too, Rich.
Whatever it takes, Kevin, to get the job done.
Well, you're sticking up for a defender? I can't believe it.
He just does a great job locating the ball. That's one of the things you like to see with cornerbacks. That they don't find the ball often enough. And he does a great job getting his head around and tracking the football.
But in a regular season game, wouldn't you agree he's pushing up his
There's a little bit of separation there. There's a little bit of shoving that goes on. And
they're not reviewing the penalty. They're reviewing to see if he had the ball as he came down, hit the ground, and maybe where he was actually perhaps touched as he was down. Halfway through the second quarter on the Packers television network. A review right now taking place. Bill Vinovich, who officiated Super Bowl 49, talked with Mike McCarthy on the Demarius Randall interception.
I'm going to call him down. Already bringing the ball back.
Cooper got him, right? Touched him when he was down.
After reviewing the play, the interception is confirmed, but the runner was down by contact at the 26-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 8 minutes and 4 seconds. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 26-yard line on the Oakland hash.
Well, great anticipation. You can see clearly he has the ball, and they're going to say that Cooper touches him when he first comes down. Right there. Doesn't have to be with the hand, any part of the body.
Second string offensive line is in there for Green Bay again. And the second, make it third string quarterback, second Green Bay quarterback tonight. Joe Callahan from Division III Wesley. Rookie free agent, started last week. Handoff on 1st and 10, and this is John Crockett, who is on the fence. Needs to show some pretty good improvement from the 25-yard line. Taken down. Lance Allen, what do you have?
Hey, Kevin, yes, it's the left ankle on Brett Hundley, same ankle that he aggravated earlier in camp. Packers right now doesn't look like it appears to be anything serious or whatever, but obviously left ankle. And yeah, it's, just precautionary, will not play the rest of the evening because obviously it's the preseason. Guys, back to you.
Lance, thanks. Second down, 11. Looking for Montgomery with the coverage on the play by David Amerson. It's 3rd and 11.
Gonna make that catch. Too many drops a season ago when you look at this football team, especially the wide receivers. The receivers had the 4th worst drop rate in football last year.
That's significant.
Clean that up. That is, especially from a group in the past, Kevin, that's been very good at catching the football. Callahan Mike McCarthy told us earlier today, really did a nice job last week protecting the football. Ball carriage was better. I think managed the game well, especially in that 2-minute drive before the half against the Browns.
One tight end, 5 in the secondary, 3rd and 11. They come at Callahan, dumps it off Crockett. Clocked by Taylor. And he's brought down by Ben Heaney out of Kansas. It's a catch and run of 7 to the 32, short of the first. Packers bring out their punting unit.
Well, to play in this offense, you have to be a 3rd down back. And I think you look at Crockett, and they're going to give him a lot of opportunities tonight, Kevin. He's got to get more comfortable with the 3rd down passing, and in particular, an area where he has to improve is in pass protection. They're not going to put you in there unless you can block for Aaron Rodgers.
Tim Mastey's net last year was the best in Green Bay since 1976, and he punts right here. Tywan Jones is back. Great punt, terrific hang time. Back at the 18, hang time of 4.94. 50-yard punt. And they had Antonio Hamilton back there to retrieve it. Timeout, 6:41 to play in the second quarter from Lambeau. Kenny Clark will begin this defensive series for Green Bay in that middle. Co-captain at UCLA, career year, 6 sacks a season ago. A lot on his plate, Rich. A lot on his plate.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about no B.J. Raji. You got Pennell's suspension early in the season. This guy's really going to have to step up and play well for them. Not only that, but play a lot of reps. Think about the season opener down there in Jacksonville, Kevin. It's going to be hot. It's going to be muggy. It's going to be humid. And he's got to play a lot of reps against an improved offensive team of the Jaguars.
Raiders have their starting offensive line in. Starting quarterback Carr is in. Fake to Jones. 1st and 10. Tywan Jones in space. Slowed down by Martinez. Leveled on the play by the linebacker Thomas. Catch run of 6, and he's up to the Raider 23. Hey fans, be sure to tune into the Packers radio network during the regular season for the Menards Big Play Contest. You could win a $500 Menards gift package and card if the Packers score a touchdown from 25 yards or more in a single play during the second quarter. For details, visit any Wisconsin Menards store. 2nd down and 4. We have the run right here. It's Olawale with your player out of North Texas. Gain of 7 to the 30 and a Raider 1st down.
Talk about different combinations coming on and off the field. One of the players they want to get a look at with the starters tonight, Kevin, is Darius Gunter. Chance to play some really important snaps as the Raiders still have their starters out there. Chance to match up with either Crabtree or Cooper in man-to-man coverage.
Packers sticking in the nickel, 1st and 10. Jones, Olawale a block. And they also get a block on the play from Austin Howard, the former Jet starter, starting for the Raiders. It's a gain of 2. Lance Allen is on the sideline.
Yeah, Kevin, we're here with special guest Randall Cobb. And Randall, an impressive 14-play drive to start this game. What does that do for the offense's confidence?
Oh, that's great. That's a great start for us. You know, that's something that we wanted to come out and do and make sure that we continue to move the sticks, establish the winter game. Offensive line did great. Brett was great in the huddle, commanding us. Offensive line opened up holes. Eddie ran hard, and we got a touchdown.
Last year, 23rd ranked offense. That's not you guys. How are you rectifying that situation?
We're just coming out here trying to make plays. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. You know, obviously this is preseason. We're just trying to get the juices back flowing and make sure we get in rhythm. But when the season rolls around, it's all about putting it back together, putting plays and drives together to put points on the board.
Jordy caused a stir by putting that uniform on. I knew he wasn't going to play tonight, but when you heard that he passed his physical, what did you do? How did you react?
I went up and congratulated him. You know, I know he was like a kid in a candy shop with his helmet on all day. So it's great to see him back out here. We're excited to get him back.
You guys are so close. What does that do for your offense? I mean, obviously you guys have an incredible rapport with Aaron Rodgers.
We do. You know, we're trying to get those other guys involved. You know, Ty Montgomery coming out here making some plays. Devontae continuing to make plays. Adding Jared Cook. Having James Starks and Eddie, that 1-2 combo in the backfield. We're really excited about our offense this year.
We always appreciate your honesty, Randall. Recently on a Sirius XM radio interview, you said you were embarrassed by the drops last year. You know, what are you doing to rectify that?
Just going out and making a play. At the end of the day, that's all it's about. You know, I got to make it when I get the opportunity, and I didn't do a great job of that last year. I'm excited about the opportunity to come back this season.
And not to bring up too much of last year, but Arizona, everybody knows what happened. I saw it. How nervous were you? Were you scared when that all went down?
Not necessarily in the moment. I would say in the month following, it was a little difficult to swallow thinking about what could have happened. You know, if my lung had collapsed, things could have went a lot worse than what they were. But you know, I'm happy to be back out here, back to be with my teammates, and ready to make a run.
And you mentioned Brett Hundley, the confidence and kind of when he was in there, the growth of Brett Hundley so far.
Yeah, it's been great. You know, he's battling injuries. You know, he got rolled up on today. But, you know, when he's out there, he's made some improvements. You can tell by his footwork. You can tell by how fast he's getting the ball out. And the way he commands the huddle, he does a great job.
Randall, thanks for the time. Good luck this season.
All right, thank you.
All right, Randall Cobb joining us right here on the Packers TV Network. Kevin Rich.
On that 3rd and 17, it was a gain of 7. Jermaine Whitehead got Marcel Reese shy of the first down. A hold, Rich, on the Raiders. Knocked out a 16-yard run by Carr. Raiders now will punt.
Yeah, third time tonight, Kevin. The Raiders face a 3rd and 10 or longer. I mean, the penalties, some of the missed assignments, putting them in bad situations. Tough to convert a lot of 3rd and longs in this business.
Aberderos is back, and Marquette King will punt for the Oakland Raiders. Windless night in Green Bay, heavy air, very humid. 26-yard line, Aberderos. Hang time 3-6. 43-yard punt with the return of about 7 to 8 yards by Aberderos. The 5th-round pick out of Wisconsin 3 years ago. He's best in the slot, and he's had a good camp. He's making a very strong push for the roster.
Yeah, and Kevin, what I like about him is his size. I mean, he's 6'1", he's 195, he's got good speed, catches the ball well away from his body. He's a very good route runner, always seems to be in the right place at the right time. And you know, they're looking for someone who's going to take the next step, but somebody who makes the most improvement in the offseason program and really shows what they're able to do during this preseason.
Well, they got a good bump before the game tonight and earlier this week when they saw Jordy Nelson hit the practice field. Of course, go back to a year ago, the blown knee in this preseason game in Pittsburgh. Richard was right beneath us. We almost heard it as he landed and spun.
Just a freak injury. I mean, just, you know, simple play that you see him make 100 times on the practice field. And again, to get him out there, look at him earlier tonight. I think he's excited to be out there. He's close. You know, I think he'll probably play, but they're going to be smart with him. Kevin, they're going to bring him along slowly. But look at that production. I mean, the numbers, they got better each year. Look at what he did in 2014. 13 touchdowns, over 1,500 receiving yards, almost 100 catches. And without him last year, we talked about the trickle-down effect, how it affected Cobb and how it affected Aaron Rodgers and the rest of the receivers, how it had an impact on the running game. So getting Jordy Nelson back, healthy on the football field, a rejuvenated Eddie Lacy in a running game, I think this can be one of the better offenses that the Packers have had. And of course, I mean, things look a lot different with number 12 on the field, right?
A lot. But, you know, that's the game in the NFL. 50% of it is knowing who that quarterback is. How'd you like to be a team trying to search and find a quarterback? Mike McCarthy is obviously appreciate the hand dealt him as he inherits Favre, and then they go right with the baton handoff to that guy right there, Roger.
It's an impossible way to make a living if you don't have a quarterback in this game. And the Packers, we talked about, they've been spoiled. Aaron Rodgers will be in the Hall of Fame along with Brett Favre someday. He is, in my opinion, the best in the business at what he does.
Second team offensive line is in. Brandon Burks, the running back, 1st and 10 on the 35. Oh, here they come, and down goes Callahan. Had to eat it. Sack, first one given up by this line tonight. Back to the 27-yard line of Green Bay.
Well, this guy's the real deal up top, Khalil Mack, and he's going to get a chance to work on the rookie, Spriggs, and that's he's got his hand full. You've got to be more aggressive with your hands. You've got to be the first one to get the punch on a player like Mack. This is a good challenge for Spriggs, the rookie.
He played well last week, 2nd down and 18. Mack got by Spriggs again. He is learning a lot. That's a 15-sack All-Pro guy from a year ago in Khalil Mack.
And he's got great speed off the edge, his ability to bend and get underneath you. And this is great work for the rookie, going up against one of the best pass rushers in the game.
From Buffalo. Flag.
Intentional grounding. Offense number 6. Spot foul. Loss of down. 3rd down.
Callahan saying Division III, they allowed that kind of pass.
Yeah, right. Well, these pass rushers are all the same, Kevin. When they feel that they've got a player out there in front of them that can't handle them, they just keep coming off the edge. They keep bringing the heat. And Mike McCarthy's going to have to do something to help his young tackle. Run the football here a little bit, get in the left formation, slide the line, chip with the back, take some of the edge off of Mack coming off the corner.
So they're working at Taylor, who did not play that well last week at the left guard, and Sprague's the left tackle. Other side, they got Murphy at the right tackle, Walker at the right guard. 3rd and 31. They need the Green Bay 45. They have a handoff, and it goes to the running back out of Troy, Brandon Burks, who carried it 9 times for 45 yards a week ago. There is no gain. We have reached the 2-minute warning. The Wisconsin Lottery presents the 2-minute warning. Packers scratch games are on sale now with a bonus drawing for a private suite for 2 games for 25 people. Learn more at wilottery.com. From Green Bay, this is the Packers Television Network. Packers will punt. 2-minute warning. Rookie free agent Peter Mortel from the University of Minnesota will punt. Really punted well last week. 3 punts, average 44 yards, net just under 43, 3 inside the 20. And deep back is Antonio Hamilton from South Carolina State. Mortel, nice one. Hamilton lets it bounce and roll, and down it goes at the 28. Hang time of 4.6. He gets off a rocket 58-yard punt. A good one for the rookie free agent from Green Bay. Well, coming up on the Toyota Halftime Report, our Rod Burks, favorite of Rich's, has a chance to sit down with the Packers tight end Jared Cook. Also check in with your local news and have stats and highlights on tonight's first half. All coming up on the Toyota Halftime Report. We enjoyed those conversations last week, and you'll see them throughout the preseason. Oakland has 3 timeouts. Packers have 2. Carr remains the quarterback, their starter. And their starting offensive line is in. 1st and 10. On the sideline and incomplete. And looking for a young, talented receiver in Andre Holmes, who had a touchdown reception a week ago against the Cardinals. Here's a Rollins coverage on the play.
Good job by Quentin Rollins on the sidelines there, Kevin. And we talked a little bit earlier about the development of these young cornerbacks. Demarius Randall, Quentin Rollins, as they begin year 2. The ability for the game to slow down a little bit, for them to be able to recognize formations and splits.
2nd down, 10. Olawale. Thomas brings him down. Martinez got a hand on him on 2nd and 10. He picks up 6, Rich, and he's up to the Raider 34. Raiders with 3 timeouts, and the clock continues to roll. 3rd and 4. Timeout, Green Bay. They were having some personnel issues right there, Rich. That's coming off, and that ticks off Mike. They told us last week that of all the things that they worry about, the number one thing for the defense, the communication among the players, and then secondly, the communication with the sideline.
That's really where it all starts, the importance of communication. Mike McCarthy and Dom Capers and the entire coaching staff, this is what they stress. This is the lifeline of this organization, to be able to make sure that everybody's on the same page, that the call comes in from the coordinator down to the linebacker. He relays that information to the defensive line and then the secondary. And what they've done, Kevin, is this no huddle mindset. They've done that from day one, even last season, because of the way offenses are playing with their up-tempo style. Hardly any of these offenses are huddling anymore, so you've got to be able to communicate at the line of scrimmage.
Packers have 6 in the secondary, 3rd down and 4. Derek Carr, Olawale, bumped outside, Nice defensive play turned in by defensive back Quentin Rollins. Slowed him up. Martinez finishes him off. It is a gain of 2. He's up to the 37.
Watch Rollins. He's going to go down low on the fullback. I'd like to see him use his arms. He just goes down, tries to knock him down with his shoulder pads. Bring those arms along with you. We talk about good technique, good fundamentals, and good form tackling at the cornerback position.
You said it earlier in the broadcast. They're worried about tackling in space, not the close quarters, but out in space where these guys have room to roam.
Right, and they're also worried about the yards after contact. Keep that number way down this season.
Marquette King to punt once again. Albertanis is deep back. Late call for the fair catch.
Got to give him space.
Yeah, and they didn't. And right on him was Johnny Holton, who's a rookie free agent from Cincinnati. 47-yard Marquette King punt. And Albertanis. Now, granted, he was a very late signaling for the fair catch, and Holton was kind of on top of him already.
Fair catch interference. Kicking team number 16. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
But since this is a Packer broadcast, it was a good call.
Well, it takes a while to get it up. Not a great one at that. And you're right, Kevin. It's hard when you're covering kicks. You're trying to beat a guy across his face and at the same time trying to watch the return man, whether or not he gets that arm up to signal a fair catch. Another opportunity for the young quarterback, Joe. You see Jack Del Rio complaining about the fair catch signal, but another opportunity for this young quarterback, Kevin, to get a chance in a 2-minute situation. 1:04 on the clock. Packers have just the one timeout left.
See his numbers tonight taking the place of Brett Hundley, who left with a sprained ankle, same ankle that kept him out of last week's game. Callahan a week ago, 16 of 23 against the Cleveland Browns, 124 and a short touchdown pass. He's down in 10. One timeout from his own 31. Crockett was out of the backfield. Crockett gets the call, and there's some good coverage on the play by Ben Heaney. They're going to lose about 3 on the play, and it goes back to the 27.
You're better off just throwing it away in that situation, right? The completion there doesn't do anything. It hurts you. You lose yardage, and the clock continues to run.
Second down and 13. Raiders have 4 in their secondary, and that pass is over the head of Ty Montgomery, thrown by Joe Callahan.
It's interesting. You look at the young quarterback and talk about reps and how important they are. He doesn't always get a chance to throw balls to, some of the starters. So you get different guys out there, different combinations. That's one of the things that Mike McCarthy talked about earlier today in our production meeting. He said, I want to see different players playing together up front, at the receiver position, at the running back position, how they interact with the quarterbacks that are going to be rolled through there tonight.
Callahan into the nickel. Albertanis, 3rd and 13 outside, and he is brought down. Sean Smith is there. A lot of the starters still out there for the Raiders. It was a gain of 3. He's back to the 30-yard line, the original line of scrimmage. It's 4th down, and the Raiders have taken a timeout. The clock is at 27 seconds, and Green Bay will send their punting unit back out onto the field.
Yeah, the Raiders want to see if they can't set up a return. They've got a couple timeouts left. If they get a good return here, you certainly give yourself a chance to throw the ball down the field, get into field goal range, or even take a shot at the end zone.
3rd consecutive 3 and out for the Green Bay offense.
Can't stress how quickly the game moves for a young quarterback. I think back to my days as a rookie quarterback, Kevin, and I remember coming off the field and they would ask me what the coverage was. I'm not sure what the coverage was. I don't even know what I was looking at. It just moves so fast.
Peter Mortell to punt again. Jadon Mickens is back for the Raiders. Rookie free agent from Washington. Another good punt. Back to the 15. He bobbles the ball. It's picked up and down with Martinez downfield. Proving he can wear many hats. The rookie out of Stanford comes up with a big play on special teams.
Boy, that was impressive. I mean, first he was the first one down there, and then he makes a terrific open field tackle against the returner.
Boy, Mortell has punted well tonight again. It was a 54-yard punt.
Tripping. Receiving team number 22. After this is the goal. Oakland keeps the ball. First down.
It was on Taiwan Jones. There's Blake Martinez. A net for Mortell of 57. I'll tell you what, all these punts are on tape, and a lot of teams are always looking for punters if he doesn't make it here.
Yeah, look at this coverage. Just a great open field tackle. You see him flying down there. And that's where he's going to have to help himself this year on special teams. All the rookies are involved in some way, shape, or form on special teams.
Raiders starting offensive line has been playing the entire first half.
Well, when you got Derek Carr out there, you're going to have the starting offensive line out there for sure.
They're going to go to a knee and eat it. Finish off the final 18 seconds. Packers scored on the opening drive. 1-yard touchdown leap by Eddie Lacy. Raiders countered with a 46-yard field goal at the early mark of the first quarter to come to within 4, but those are the only 2 scores in our first half. 7-3. Green Bay is on top of the Oakland Raiders, who are getting a lot of praise from many corners around the NFL. Halftime in Green Bay on the Packers Television Network. Moon rising up over Lake Michigan. Let's go down to the sideline and Lance Allen.
All right, yeah, we're joined live right here by Mike McCarthy. And Mike, very impressive 14-play drive to start this thing. What does that do heading into the regular season in a couple of weeks for the confidence of your offense?
Well, a big part of our emphasis is running the football and stopping the run. So, coming out offensively, running the football, getting out on the edge with the keeps. Job well done. Eddie, I think, had 9 rushes on that series. The same thing with our defense. Our defense is getting off the field, stopping the run. So that's a starting point each and every year, and I was very pleased with what we accomplished here in the first quarter.
You wanted to establish that running identity. Another great week for Eddie Lacy. 9 carries, 45 yards, and that touchdown, finishing off a lot of third downs you converted as well.
That's what I just said, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, 9 rushes. But Eddie did a hell of a job. And once again, the biggest thing about running the football is staying in favorable down and distances, which it tilts to the offense when you're effective on first and second down.
And very quickly, Demarius Randall, another interception.
Yeah,
you got playmakers in the back end of that defense.
Oh, definitely. It was a great return. Unfortunately, but still, hey, these athletes are hawking the ball. I think our pursuit and finish is picked up, and we got to take it to another level.
All right, good luck in the second half, Mike.
All right, thank you, Lance.
All right, Mike McCarthy joining us live right here on the Packers TV Network.
Lance thanks. Packer defense, 1 takeaway, Rich. They allowed only 73 yards. Let's swing to the offense, and he was talking about Eddie Lacy.
And I think if you're team scouting the Packers, you better pay attention to how they've started the last 2 preseason games, running the football with some power downhill with their big back, Eddie Lacy. 9 carries, 45 yards. I think Mike McCarthy just said that, didn't he? 9 carries, 45 yards.
And then Lance said it before.
But in all seriousness, good to see Brett Hundley. I thought he moved well. Kevin got off to a good start, was very accurate throwing the ball to his left. Unfortunately for him, he gets rolled up on an ankle, left the game early. Not thought to be serious, which is good news for him, but more rehab. But he came out throwing the ball well, pushing the ball down the field, looked very comfortable in the pocket.
But here is something that's interesting, because Hundley's left ankle was enough of a concern that you see he's got his arm draped on Aaron Rodgers walking off. And what this means now, and we know how tough ankles are to get back to where you need them to be as you take a look at some of the first half numbers, Rich, is that Joe Callahan now comes very much into focus on this team because he could become an early season backup quarterback.
Kevin, you never know how these ankle injuries are. You're right. I mean, something could happen where he's going to be out a couple, 2-3 weeks, maybe not available for that first preseason game. So Joe Callahan could wind up being the backup quarterback week 1 against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That is out of the end zone to the 23, 25-yard line is where it will go with a 1st and 10. So let me just talk about the defense here real quick, because they were terrific. The defense had the 1 takeaway, allowed 73 yards, held the Raiders, their first team offense, to 1 of 5 on 3rd down.
And remember, a lot of the Packers starters came out while the Raiders kept their starting offensive line and quarterback in the game throughout the first half. I thought the defense really played well, Kevin. Terrific on the early downs. Did a great job getting off the field on 3rd down.
Here's the 1st-round pick. Kenny Clark will keep an eye on him. The new quarterback for the Raiders is Penn State's Matt McGloin. It is a 1st and 10. DeAndre Washington is the back, and he gets the call, and he is stuffed inside. And Mike Pennell, who's going to miss the first part of the season with an NFL suspension, in there to make the stop. gain of a yard. The third quarter sponsored by the Wisconsin Dental Association. Routine dental exams cost less per month than the average cell phone bill. Visit WDA.org to find a Wisconsin Dental Associate dentist near you for affordable preventive care. Second down, 9. Washington is a rookie out of Texas Tech. They go downfield and look for the tight end, Ryan O'Malley out of Penn. Incomplete, 3rd and 9. With a look at Bradford, who was very good last week.
Yeah, I love what Mike McCarthy said earlier. The light went off for him last week. He wasn't looking at it and reacting. He was just flying around making plays, being very instinctive. He talked about how the game slows down for players. Your ability to get up to the line of scrimmage and recognize, based on splits, down and distance, the situation in the game, what could be coming from the offense.
3rd and 9. Packers with 6 in the secondary. McLaurin.
Great coverage.
It was. They were going for Andre Holmes, and Gunter was there in the secondary along with Josh Hawkins.
Really a nice job. Hawkins trailing in their 2-deep coverage. The 2-deep man coverage. He knew he had help over the top, so he found a way to get back up underneath the intended receiver.
Marquette King has been busy, and as he looks downfield at Aberderis, Packers offense at 4 3-and-outs in 6 total first half series.
This is where the Packers have to get better, Kevin. Their return units in the kicking and the punting game.
Aberderis hit out of bounds, and that will be a Raider penalty. Like he was hit by Keith McGill, who's a 4th-year player, 3rd-year player out of Utah. 49-yard punt with a 9-yard Aberderis return.
During the return, holding. Receiving team number 39. 10-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. Green Bay keeps the ball. First down.
Dimitri Goodson. And here comes Callahan. We talked a lot about him last week, Rich, and the enormity of playing in the most historic stadium in the NFL here at Lambeau and coming from a small school out east.
Yeah, you just want to see him function in the offense, Kevin. Go through the progressions. He missed one earlier on a naked bootleg, a short yardage situation. Just the ability to calm himself down and work through his progressions.
With the 1st and 10, this is Crockett. And he bounces and finds room into the secondary and brought down by Nate Allen. Hard-earned 10 yards up to the 30-yard line. Good play by Crockett to the sideline and Lance Allen.
All right, Kevin, we're joined live by Clinton Dixon. You know, I have to start off with a softer question. Who is the last person to call you Haseen?
That's a hard question. Sometimes A-Rod's call me Haseen, sometimes just joking around, but no one really calls me that anymore.
Has just kind of stuck ever since your grandma named you that.
Yes, it did. It stuck at a young age, and I kind of just ran with it.
Everybody says you are ready to emerge. You've already had 2 phenomenal seasons with the Green Bay Packers. Why do you feel like this is the year that you're really going to emerge?
Well, my defense. My defense has been doing a good job throughout OTAs, throughout training camp. Put me in the right spot to make plays. We're all young. We're all fast, and I just feed off them and try to make plays.
How about the playmaking ability of this defense, especially the secondary? Micah Hyde, incredible interception week 1. Demarius Randall tonight.
Man, it feels good to get back out here and have those guys go out and make big plays, and that's what we preach all the time is turnovers, and we've been doing that.
You're a ball hawk. You had a couple of interceptions last year. Is that something when you put the goals up that you think about and say, I want more picks or anything like that?
That's the first thing that goes down is getting turnovers and catching interceptions.
So what's the number? Can you maybe put that out there?
I can't put it out there. That's for you guys to see.
And Morgan Burnett, how does he help you do your job? He is so smart. But this year he's going to obviously be playing in the box, playing up toward the line of scrimmage.
Well, since I stepped foot here in Green Bay, Morgan has been a leader, a pro, and a guy I look up to so much. So just to have him back there with me, man, makes my job a lot easier. You
know, I'm used to you being the quiet rookie and then all of a sudden kind of quiet in your second year. You're more vocal this year. Why?
That's one of the things I want to work on is being vocal and letting the guys hear me and let them know that I know what I'm doing back there.
So being vocal, you're not a screamer and a yellow. So what goes into that?
Communication, being on point, giving the right calls to the corners, and just being a team leader.
And I noticed that in Alabama, you gave back. You painted houses, when a tornado hit and certain things. What is it about you that makes you you?
Man, it means a lot, just as me as my name, and just want to give back and help others. And, the big thing that happened in Tuscaloosa with the tornado, it affected not only the city but the team as well. So by giving back, I thought that was a good thing, and I love and enjoy doing it.
And I imagine the silliest question I'll ever ask is Alabama going to win it all again, you being one of those guys?
Man, I hope so. Saban does a good job of getting those boys ready. I think they'll be ready for this year.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
All right, Clinton Dix joining us right here on the Packers TV Network. Set for a big year, Kevin Rich.
Haseen Treshawn Clinton Dix. Haseen for ha. From Orlando, Florida, he was the top high school defensive back in the country. 1st and 10 on a slant. Geronimo Allison to the 40-yard line of Oakland. 18-yard catch and run after the quarterback Callahan ran it for 9 on 3rd and 7. Packers moving downfield.
This is a staple throw in the West Coast offense, the slant route, and this great anticipation by the young quarterback, getting him in the transition of the run.
They like the camp that Allison has had. He's out of Illinois. Callahan again.
Same route.
Yep, same route, same receiver, broken up, incomplete, flag thrown.
I think that's part of the genius with a play caller like Mike McCarthy. We see him with the running game. We see him with some of the boots early in the game. If it's successful, come right back to it.
Defense number 23. Flag foul, automatic first down.
Dexter McDonald.
Make them stop it. Make them show that they can cover this slant. This is all about timing and rhythm and anticipation. Starting your arm early as a quarterback. That's the thing. I think you talk about the best slant thrower in football is Aaron Rodgers. He can throw the ball in the gun, Kevin, better than any quarterback. Sometimes he throws it without the grip. His release and his delivery, I think it's the quickest right now in the business.
Without the grip.
Yeah, they'll snap him the ball. He won't even have the laces. So he doesn't have the type of grip. He's able to throw the ball without the laces, that slant route. He doesn't wait to get the laces. He just zings it. Not a lot of quarterbacks can do that. I couldn't throw it with the laces.
Well, I take that. You threw well enough. Believe me, Callahan running for his life.
Great move.
And he finds Crockett. And he's got a first down. Hit by Toomer, the linebacker. 12-yard scrambling completion to the 23 of the Raiders.
Talk about being calm in the face of pressure. Look at the movement by the quarterback. He's going to start here. He's running all around, but he's able to keep his eyes down the field and find the open receiver.
We told you last week one of the reasons why the Packers brought him to camp was his ability to scramble, and the thought that would help prepare them for the regular season as they watch scrambling quarterbacks in the league. 1st and 10 Callahan. Here he goes again. With a foot race and a high hit and brought down on the play by Corey James, a rookie out of Colorado State. Gain of 5 right there to the 18.
One of the things he's going to find out is those linebackers are a little bit faster than what he saw at Wesley. These guys can run. And when they hit you, it hurts.
Yeah.
Trust me. Callahan, not the biggest.
Delaware.
Yeah, that's right. Callahan, not the biggest guy, Kevin. It's one of the reasons why he wasn't drafted. But Ted Thompson and Mike McCarthy, as they studied and scoured tapes of college quarterbacks, there was something about his game that impressed the Packers.
With a 2nd down and 5, Callahan. Giving a lot of options. Being chased by Malcolm Smith and others, and throws. With a completion across the way to Backman. The tight end to the 10, maybe inside the 10. Gain of 8. It's a catch. It's 1st and goal, Green Bay.
Well, you can already see Callahan. He's a hard quarterback to get to. Very slippery in the pocket. We can see Aaron Rodgers. He likes it.
And again, with the Hundley injury, Callahan now really becomes a focus.
Yeah, I think that the Packer receivers, whether you're a tight end, you're a wide receiver, even a running back, they do such a great job separating at the top of the route and coming back to the quarterback. Giving the quarterback an opportunity off the scramble.
1st and goal. Callahan, incomplete. Looking for Montgomery. And the coverage in the secondary was by T.J. Carey out of Ohio. 2nd and goal.
Throwing the ball away on 1st down in this part of the field, not a bad play. Sometimes it's the only play you don't want to do is see a quarterback hold the ball and take a sack in that situation.
You've said many times there's no place to learn the quarterback position better than in Green Bay.
Well, they've got a history of doing it the right way, training and developing young quarterbacks in this system.
Crockett in his side. 5 in the Raiders secondary. It's second down and goal. Crockett. Wow. Big run into the end zone. What a play. 10-yard touchdown run. Scores a touchdown for the second consecutive week, and the leap takes him to the stands.
A couple really nice runs from Crockett on this drive. Talked about him being more decisive. A little less wiggle and more straight line. One cut, he's downhill, he's up on the second level. Watch him finish down in the red zone.
Crockett caught a pass on that drive for 12. Backman, the tight end, for 8. Geronimo Allison caught one for 18. Callahan with a third down converting 9-yard run. And that culminates a 10-play, 80-yard drive, and Crosby is perfect, and the Packers have gone up 14-3. With the backup quarterback in question with the Hundley injury. The young rookie free agent from Wesley engineers the drive, and Crockett takes it in for Green Bay.
This Packers preseason game is sponsored by Chevrolet, Mills Fleet Farm, Ticketmaster, Verizon, and Carmex.
Crockett, the touchdown run. And the short reception last week for a touchdown against the Cleveland Browns.
You score a touchdown and you run right back out there and you go cover a kick. This is football. It's the way it's supposed to be.
That's the guy trying to earn a position on this team. Washington out of the end zone to the 25. Got to wear a lot of hats on a team. Crockett playing special teams, carrying the ball into the end zone, and gives the Packers a 14-3 lead. Raiders getting it for a second time in the second half, and Rich, the Packers with a script scored on their first possession. They make adjustment at halftime, and they score in their first possession of the second half.
Really impressive. And what's been impressive as well, Kevin, has been the play of the defense in both games, really. And even when the younger guys have gotten out there, I mean, they've done a nice job with their run fits and getting off of blocks. The tempo has been terrific. Talked about the pace of play and their ability to kind of control and dictate that, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And the communication's been good. And as Mike talked about this afternoon, seeing 11 of those yellow helmets running to the football. Great pursuit angles as you play defense.
McGloin remains the quarterback for the Raiders. He played at Penn State. First down and 10. Out of the backfield, they go to DeAndre Washington. Nice pursuit on the play. Rice brings him down. Loss of 2 on the play. Back to the 23 to Lance Allen.
All right, Kevin, we're here live with Josh Sitton. And Josh, you're one of those guys that you don't make excuses. Last year as an offensive line, you had high hopes. This year you have high hopes. But what did you change from last year? I know you guys had some injuries and stuff like that. What did you change going into this year?
Well, I don't think there's many changes. I just think that, the mindset's got to be, when people go down, it's the next man up, and we can't, like you said, we can't have those excuses. We feel like we've got 3 or 4 guys that can come in and get the job done no matter what, and we feel comfortable, really comfortable with our depth.
You guys have gotten into a great rhythm. I mean, tonight, 14-play drive right off the bat. Does that build some continuity going into the regular season in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, absolutely. I think anytime you can get out there and run some key passes and run the ball as well as you did, as we did, it builds that confidence. And, we feel like we can go out there and grind the ball and grind some drives out, running the ball, and that makes you feel good as an offensive lineman.
I know you're on record this last week as saying you dropped a little bit of weight. How does that help you go about your job, and why did you do it?
Well, it's enabled me to practice a little more. It just took a little weight, a little pressure off me. Oh, I must have clicked.
You can call play-by-play too if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, I will. Gotta be ready for that second career,
Absolutely.
But yeah, it just taking that weight off for 3 or 4 months during the off season just takes some pressure off the joints and makes me feel a little bit quicker, and I'm just able to practice a little bit more.
Got married in the off season, and obviously you got your hair there. You're one of the best hair guys on the team.
I think Clay gets all the credit for the hair, but I mean, come on. I think me and Dave are doing pretty good over there on the left side with the hair.
Absolutely. Josh, thanks for the time.
Thanks, man.
All right, Josh Sitton joining us live right here on the Packers TV Network. Kevin Rich.
Marquette King punts. Trevor Davis returns. And that was the kind of return they've been looking for. A 20-yard punt return. Turned in by the 5th-round rookie out of Cal, Trevor Davis. 20-yard return, 38-yard punt. Timeout. With the rookie out of Northwestern right there, part of the defense, which has held the Oakland Raiders to 2 possessions and 2 punts in the second. Great return moments ago by rookie Trevor Davis, who began at the University of Hawaii, led the Pac-12 in kickoff returns. We just saw a 20-yard punt return. This is a punt team, Rich, and you just said it going to break, that struggled, number 30 in the NFL a season ago.
They need more explosive plays with the return units, and it's not just the returners, Kevin, it's the blocking up front, especially from their gunners, the outside defenders as they block the cover guys that run down to cover those kicks.
1st and 10. Callahan throws it away. He was probably going to play in this second half, and we saw he had to come in a bit earlier because of the sprained ankle for Brett Hundley, who had sprained the ankle earlier in training camp, and that kept him out of last week's game against the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I thought he really handled that situation well last week, getting an opportunity to start the first preseason game for the Packers. And no Brett Hundley, obviously no Aaron Rodgers last week or this week, but 3 of 4 for 38 yards in that last drive. And got a chance, Kevin, to make this football team.
43 defense and 4 in the secondary for the Raiders. 2nd down and 10 for Green Bay. Crockett made a miss to the 41 with a gain of 4 up the middle and hit by James Krauser from Southern Utah.
A good look at Crockett. Saw a bunch of him last week, Kevin. He's getting a bunch of carries tonight, and Mike McCarthy talked about wanting to see more from the young back. One of these backs, is it Crockett? Is it Burks? Is it Ross? Who's going to be that third running back behind Eddie Lacy and James Starks? They need to see more from him in the passing game, especially as it relates to protecting the passer.
Watch the tight end here, Perillo. He was big last week for the Packers. 3rd down and 6. Callahan, blitz is there. Crockett is off to the races with the block up ahead given by Don Barkley, who is playing center. It's a catch and run of 11 to the 29 of Oakland and a Green Bay 1st down.
Really nice job by the offensive line. A good screen team has offensive linemen that are athletic, that can get out and run and get out in front of the screen. You see Barkley out there and Crockett very patient, letting the lineman get downfield first, catches the ball. Now he's on his way.
1st and 10. He tried to go outside and picks up 4.
There's an example of the quarterback and receiver not being on the same page. Callahan wanted to throw the ball quickly to Allison. Allison decides to run the route. So you see he's going to throw it to him. He's not there now. He's stuck. He's got nothing else he can do with it other than just to run and try and pick up a 1st down. Better take care of the football. That's something they harp on here in Green Bay. Ball security when you decide to pull the ball down and run as a quarterback.
2nd down and 6. Burks is in. And again he runs. And again forced out of bounds. Corey Toomer, who led him in tackles last week against the Arizona Cardinals, allows a 5-yard run right there by Callahan to the 21.
Well, the play action's been good. Look at the ball extension. Now he comes out on the edge, and in fairness, there's really nowhere to throw the football. The Raiders do a really nice job covering the comeback, the crosser, and the shallow flat route with the onside tight end.
Tight ends are Backman and Perillo. Spriggs is the left tackle. Murphy is the right tackle, 3rd and 1. Barkley is the center. Burks. Good block by Murphy. That springs him. Murphy had the block at the right tackle. The rookie from Stanford. A 16-yard run by Burks. First and goal, Green Bay.
Well, really nice job. He's going to wind it all the way back. Starts play side. Great vision. Look, he saw the defense over pursue. He saw an opportunity to bounce this one to the edge. Really nice instinctive run by Brandon Burks.
Burks showed some pretty good pass protection last week as well. First and goal at the 5. Burks from behind, lassoed by Stacy McGee, the veteran out of Oklahoma. With no gain on the play, second down and goal.
You know, it's amazing when you think about, you don't know when you're going to get in the game and how many touches you're going to get. You got to make the most of each carry, of each time you touch the football.
Burks, a rookie free agent out of Troy.
What I love when you watch the players come off the field, Kevin, all the veteran guys, Clay Matthews, Aaron Rodgers, Jordy Nelson, they all go over and pat him on the helmet. They're over there coaching him up on the sidelines.
Crockett in, second and goal. Squirewell, third and goal. He was a defensive lineman at Newburgh, which is a Division II school. Alstebus Squirewell played in the defensive line in college. And he
got to make that catch.
Maybe looked like a defensive lineman right there. Trying to make the conversion, looking for some blocking.
He's a big man.
He is a big kid.
He can move some linebackers in the hole. Not afraid to go in there and hit you.
Third and goal at the 5.
You got man-to-man coverage down the bottom here.
Crockett is in. Callahan on the move. And shoved out of bounds on the play by Naran Ball. Second sack for the Raiders. And the field goal unit will come out. The big plays on that drive. The punt return, of course, by 20 yards from Davis. Burks had the run of 16 and Crockett had a catch and run of 11. Here is a 26-yard field goal now from Mason Crosby.
Kevin, you talked about the punting battle. Just as important as, the idea that you can hold. And a good look at Mortel, Peter Mortel. He's got to show that he can do this as well.
Good job there, flag. As you see.
Play game. Offense number 1. 5-yard penalty.
They're going to challenge Mike McCarthy.
Prior to the delay of game, Green Bay is challenging the ruling on the field.
We'll see what they're going to challenge, and we'll update that when we come back to Lambeau with under 2 to play in the third. Packers leading 14-3. Well, they challenge the spot. It stays at the 16, 26-yard field goal is up and in. Making it 17-3 Green Bay. It was not reviewable, is what we were told. Mike McCarthy thought that they could, I guess, check the where Callahan was out of bounds
spot,
when he threw it, or did he throw it when he was out of bounds? Didn't matter. They got the field goal. And they lead by 2 touchdowns with 1:56 to go, third quarter from Lambeau in Green Bay. 2 Green Bay second half possessions, 2 Green Bay scores, a 10-yard touchdown run by Crockett. 26-yard field goal moments ago from Mason Crosby. Packers have lost their starting quarterback tonight. That was Brett Hundley. Aaron Rodgers did not dress. Jordy Nelson dressed in pregame and came out in civvies for the game. He's on the sideline. We've shown him a couple of times.
Well, it's unusual for a player that knows he's going to be inactive for the game to come out and put his uniform on and come out and warm up with his teammates.
Think how long, though, it's been since he's had to get ready for a game.
I think it's all part of the process,
right,
Kevin, getting him ready for week 1.
How you prepare, right? How you live up before a game.
Absolutely.
So you're ready. Here's the kickoff, and Washington lets it go out of the end zone. Talk about the strategy by kicking out or kicking short, Rich, on these kickoffs, because the touchback now goes this year to the 25.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that the rule change, Kevin, is going to last. I mean, we talked to Mike McCarthy today. The difference between getting the ball at the 20-yard line or 25-yard line is significant. If you look at the productivity of offenses, I mean, I think, what did he say? It's 7% more scoring when you start the ball at the 25-yard line than you do at the 20-yard line. So, I mean, that's significant over the course of the season. And you got a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, I want to make him start at the 20-yard line, not 25. So I think what we're going to see when the regular season starts is more kicks where these kickers are just pooching the ball and dropping it down around the 5-yard line and running down there. And, kicker like Sebastian Janikowski or Mason Crosby, these are veteran kickers that can place the ball to directional kicking and not bang it out of the back of the end zone and place the ball with some hang time down inside the 10, certainly inside the 5-yard line.
I'd remind you, all rights to this broadcast are reserved. Any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the express written permission of the NFL is prohibited. I'd like to welcome up to our broadcast booth tonight Pete Pranica. He is play-by-play TV voice of the Memphis Grizzlies from the NBA, and Green Bay native, went to the former Fremont-Tree High School, which is now Notre Dame, which is where Peter Mortel, the Packer punter, is from. He's up here visiting family and friends and joining us in the booth tonight. We had a great talk with Mike McCarthy this morning about the practice that the team had this past week and this past Wednesday in particular.
I think it's rare that you get a head coach that was as excited as Mike was just talking about how his team worked this week, Kevin. And I just remember all the training camps that I went to, and I was fortunate enough to go to 17 of them. It just seemed like every day the coach would come out there and just try and get it out of you. He used to say, this is a veteran football team that likes to work, that likes to compete, that enjoys getting better. Aaron Rodgers, by the way, we're told, had a ridiculous practice week. They said he was off the charts. I think he's chomping at the bit. He and Jordy and the rest of them are chomping. Clay Matthews, they're anxious to get the pads on and get out there with their teammates. It's just a matter of time.
Connor Cook, the rookie out of Michigan State, is the new quarterback for the Raiders. And a handoff here. It's a fellow rookie, DeAndre Washington, who takes it. A gain of 2, late flag thrown in. He's up to the 27-yard line of Oakland.
It seems like you and I have this conversation every training camp. The depth and talent on this roster in Green Bay. You look at the backups.
How do they get to 53?
It's hard, and we always say that there's other teams that are here scouting the Packers, and you look at the depth that they have at some key positions. Mike told us it's the most depth and talent that they've had at the outside linebacker position. Guys that can rush the passer.
10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Seth Roberts. So the first cut comes up to 75 in a couple weeks.
And not all these players, as we know, are going to make this football team. But people are here watching. What you put on tape, your body of work, may be enough where there's 31 other teams that are looking at this as well. And you see Ted Thompson. I think he does an unbelievable job. He and the rest of his staff identifying talent, and they look everywhere. They leave no stone unturned, and then when they bring them into the building, they do an excellent job training and developing young players.
Actually down to 75 in 9 days. 1st and 20 on the 15.
Safety blitz
and the run by Washington with a tackle made, and we saw this last week a lot. Carl Bradford, who was on the practice squad all of last season. Gain of 6 right there by Washington.
There's the safety blitz. He's got him right in the hole. You see Whitehead, he got kind of boxed out there at the last second, but boy, he was right there in position to make that play. You could look at Bradford, Kevin. We've been talking about him quite a bit. I think the game has slowed down for him. Much more instinctive and better anticipation. You see him rallying to the football.
Another college defensive lineman making the transition. 2nd and 14.
Ooh.
And a big hit by Bryce. The catch is made by Seth Roberts on the 2nd and 14. Picks up 9 out just beyond the 30.
Well, watch this hit. Bang. Boom. Great anticipation. That's what you talk about, form tackling. Seeing with your eyes, seeing what you hit, not lowering the helmet. Talking about the strike zone. Using those arms to wrap up.
Connor Cook was a 4th-round pick out of Michigan State. 3rd down and 4. Played last week against the Arizona Cardinals, went 7 of 11.
Won a lot of football games for the Spartans.
Big football games, too. Here he goes down the side. And caught! Acrobatic grab by the rookie free agent out of Cincinnati, Johnny Holton. Working on the sideline across the way. Working on Robertson Daniel, who was with the Raiders in training camp a year ago.
That's a very difficult route to defend. That back shoulder throw. Cornerbacks have a very difficult time tracking the football.
Good catch by Holton. Julius likes what he sees. Let's step aside. Go into the fourth. Raiders just got their first down. Ritz and 6 minutes left in the second quarter. And they did it with a 21-yard pass to the rookie Holton, who takes it to the Green Bay 48 as we start the fourth quarter.
He's a good-looking young fan. He can't wait. Can't wait to meet Aaron Rodgers someday. We were talking about it on the way in. How many Packer jerseys do they sell? I mean, is there anyone in the stands not wearing a Packer jersey? That's incredible. It is a great place to watch football. It's a great place to come if you're a visitor.
And for us, an honor to call the games. 1st and 10. Washington tried to cut the corner. Dorleant was there, and a gain of 2. He comes up from the secondary and pulls him down at the 46.
And historically, it's not been an easy place to come if you're a visitor. You look at the few Raider fans. You got a Bears fan up here. I don't know what he's doing.
Matt Forte.
Yeah. But, you know, here's the thing, Kevin. The Packers need to be dominant at home once again, especially in the division. The Green Bay went 0-3 in the division at home last year and scored 16, 13, and 13 in losses to Detroit, Chicago, and Minnesota. That has to change in 2016.
2nd down 8. Good hit again. Bradford. He is earning his notches. No gain on the play. Down at the 46.
Well, watch this hit. Man.
Good one.
We talk about it all the time. When you make that initial contact, you want to see the back go backwards. Sometimes a good tackle, you don't need to see it. You can just kind of hear it.
Yeah. All back 12 at Arizona State. 3rd and 8. Cook. Pressure. Gilbert chases. Heaving it downfield. Caught. Seth Roberts beats Marvin Evans. On 3rd and 8, they pick up 34, and they've got the ball at the Green Bay 13.
Well, it just took too long to develop. I mean, the protection pretty good here, and quarterback's able to slide around, buy some time, and if you're a defender in the secondary, you're just holding on. That quarterback had way too much time in that situation.
Roberts, by the way, began to emerge last season for the Oakland Raiders. Caught 5 touchdown passes from Carr.
You've always had speed at that position. Al Davis always believed in great speed at the wide receiver position.
Washington 1st and 10. With the tackle made by Marvin Evans. Loss of a yard back to the 14.
I really like Connor Cook coming out, Kevin. There was talk about his leadership ability. He wasn't the captain of the football team at Michigan State. All I know is he played a lot of football there. He won a lot of games. You mentioned big games in a very difficult conference. I think the guy's got a chance to be a good player this league.
2nd down 11 for Cook. Washington drops the ball.
Well, you say he's got to make that catch. And if I'm coaching the quarterback, I say I agree with you. But I also say you got to put it in a better position when you're throwing to the running backs. What do I mean by that? You got to be perfect with your location. You got to get it on his front number. You can't make him slow down at all. Well, that's one he's got to catch. But I want him to get it on his front number. I want him to be exactly the location. I want to get that back into the transition of the run. The back's got to learn to catch the ball away from his body with his hands.
6 defensive backs. 9th play of the drive. 3rd and 11. Roberts inside. Big hit by Jet. He had almost a pick earlier in the game. Pick up a 4. They get down to the 10. They'll try for 3. And coming out to try for the field goal is a former Packer, Giorgio Tavecchio. He was with the Packers in the 2013 camp. He's out of Cal and really more of a training camp leg.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to beat out Sebastian Janikowski, who's been there forever. Kevin still has a big-time, powerful leg. Can bang him from outside of 50 with ease.
28-yard field goal is up and in. When he was let go by the Packers, he got in the shower, cleaned off, got a cup of coffee, and thanked the players for being his teammates in training camp.
How good is that?
Great kid. Great kid. Great story. He just converted a field goal to bring the Raiders closer, 17-6 in Lambeau. Raiders are setting to kick off. Packers in the second half. 10 plays touchdown, 10 plays field goal.
You know, Kevin, this is an opportunity. You know, you talk about for an onside kick. I mean, I'm not suggesting it's going to happen here, but look, if you're struggling moving the football like the Raiders have, it's a preseason game. You want to get some stuff on tape. You know, maybe try an onside kick here, get the ball back with 11:21 to go. They need something. They need a spark. Need some positive field position for their offense.
So Vecchio.
There's a short one.
With some hesitation, Herb Waters will bring it out.
Yeah, I'm not so sure I would have done that. Great hang time on the kick and 5 yards deep, kind of in between what to do.
Herb is out of Miami. Rich, the tablets that we see on the sideline, on all NFL sidelines, walk us through the benefits for coaches and players with this innovation and the bringing of the computer age, the electronic age on the sideline.
Well, you know, the one issue you do have is that they're not always operating and functioning properly, but what they do, Kevin, is they allow the coach to go back and actually look at the play on tape, which I think is a great resource. And you're able to kind of, you know, see what happened and talk to the players about it, show the players. Some players are very visual. That's how they learn.
Burks on 1st and 10 from Callahan, and looks like he may have lost a yard. There we see a good example of it right there.
Absolutely. Coach Turkovac, and you know, he's one of the best defensive line coaches in football. And
so what are they looking at? Still pictures or the moving
so
video?
He's got both. So he can show them a still, and he can show, hey, look, this is the formation. We've got to do a better job. Or look at the split between the guard and the tackle. This is a good indicator. Or, hey, look at the back off center. Hey, look at your first step here. It's got to be more down and inside. So you can do a lot of coaching. You don't have to wait until Monday morning or the day after the game to make the corrections. You can actually do them on the sidelines.
2nd 11, Backman, the tight end, out of the backfield with the beat on him across the way, Greg Townsend. And it's a gain of 3, and he's up to the 17. And some players, as you know, Rich, some can process written or drawing. Others
I'll give you a great example. I
video.
played with 2 Hall of Fame receivers in Oakland. Tim Brown, you could draw it up on the board, and he'd go out on the practice field, and he'd have it down. Tim Brown, on the other hand, he was more of a, or Jerry Rice, on the other hand, was more of a visual player. Yeah. So he had to actually see it and then go out and rep it and do it. And so everyone doesn't, we don't all learn the same way. And I think that's what there's, you know, you look at the still pictures, you look at the camera shots, you look at all the different ways that we can show and teach players.
3rd and 8, Callahan, and incomplete. Waters tried to scoop it up, the rookie free agent out of Miami. He was a starter down there. It's incomplete. Punting unit will take the field.
I do know this. The players that stick around in this business and last a long time are the players that when they make a mistake and you make the correction, they get it fixed. They don't go out there the next day and make the same mistake. And that's what they're looking for with a lot of these young players in preseason. Can you make the correction? Can you clean it up and fix it once and for all, or do you continually go out and make the same mistake over and over again?
That's interesting, though, what you say about the tablets. Here's Mastay to punt. Ortell's had a great night punting for Green Bay. This is a beauty. 33-yard line. Washington hang time 4-4. Comes into his own blocker and takes it up the midfield. Punt of 50, return of 17, flag on the field.
A lot of flags you see in preseason and in the first couple of weeks of the regular season on special teams because you have so many new players playing in these roles for the first time.
But they didn't play in college because they're always the best players on the team. Right?
They didn't have to play in college. Now they have to play.
Holding. Receiving team number 32. 10-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. Oakland keeps the ball. First down.
Well, you just saw Ron Zook. He said, we've added some drills. I want to see guys that can make adjustments during games. We'll talk about that as we finish off here in the 4th quarter from Lambeau with the Packers on top. 17-6 on the Packers television network. Back at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, the Raiders will get into the 35-yard line. A look at Joe Callahan, the rookie free agent from Wesley, who had to come in, take the place of the injured Brett Hundley. Aaron Rodgers did not suit up tonight. 2nd consecutive game he hasn't. think he'll be in San Francisco with us next week. He's from the area, from Chico, California, but we don't know how much of him we'll see. Right now seeing Connor Cook, the rookie out of Michigan State. With the 1st and 10, and the handoff goes to George Atkinson. He had some terrific games. He's out of Notre Dame. Bradford with the stop, a gain of 1. Last week against Arizona, Atkinson had touchdown runs of 53 and 35 yards. He was electric.
Well, the backside pursuit tonight from the Packers defense has been outstanding. When you see the runs go away from them, the linebackers, the defensive ends chasing the play down from behind has been impressive.
2nd down 9. Cook with his reception made by Marvin Hall. Rookie free agent out of Washington into Packer territory at the 46. 18-yard pickup to Lance Allen.
All right, Kevin, we're joined by Eddie Lacy here live on the sideline. And Eddie, this offseason, it's been well documented. You tried some different things, different training techniques. How do you feel?
I feel good. Like I said a few days ago, I feel more explosive. My feet moves better, and I'm just in a better situation now than I was in the past. So, I'm looking forward to continue to see what I can do.
So how much joy did it give you when Mike McCarthy said earlier this offseason, we're committed to the run, we want a running identity?
It definitely makes the backs feel good. We get a chance to go out and, show how physical we can be. And it gives us a chance to send a message to defenders. And, we want to be like that the whole year.
9 carries, 45 yards tonight. You had tremendous burst on that touchdown, getting in there. And then last week, 4 carries right off the bat in the game. They're feeding you, man.
It does a lot for the offense. It's getting us in the rhythm, and it's giving us more confidence. So, going down the stretch, we want to come out, start strong. And we definitely want the running game to be a big part of it.
I liked how you said you talked about that burst as well, that leap into the end zone, man. You had some hops on that.
Ooh, I was a little tired. I didn't get as high as I wanted to, but I made it. I'm just happy I made it.
Great play out there. The potential of this offense is unbelievable. Do you like where this offense is going and the continuity that you have?
Definitely. Offensively around the board, we're a great team. We got a great group of guys at receivers. We got great tight ends. The A-Rod, of course, the offensive line, they're coming out, they're showing that we're ready to run the ball. And Starks and I, we're ready. So, hopefully it's going to be a good season for us. Hope everybody stay healthy and just see how far we can go.
We got to ask you to get to know you a little bit better. Your popularity is off the charts. Can you describe it when people come up to you? They just are happy to see you.
I definitely appreciate the support I get from the fans, as well as my teammates. They appreciate the support as well they get. And, they just make us feel so good as players. And, to know we got them behind us is a great feeling.
Obviously, you were, displaced. Your family was displaced by Katrina, and now all of a sudden the flooding with Louisiana. Does your heart go out to that area? And your thoughts as it kind of all happens again?
Most definitely. Seeing stuff like that, it's not a good feeling. And me being, me and my family going through it, a couple years back, just seeing everybody, the victims, they're going to have to start over. My heart definitely goes out, thought goes out, and just pray that, they can rebuild from this.
Final thing, your favorite cartoon is?
Favorite cartoon, Dragon Ball Z. Definitely. I just got this cool Dragon Ball Z rubber band. All the 7 Dragon Balls. All of them.
Eddie, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
All right, Eddie Lacy joining us live right here. Kevin Rich, back up to you guys.
Thank you. We had a 45-yard return by Josh Hawkins, who was a walk-on at East Carolina, became a terrific player for the Pirates, a rookie free agent, and an acrobatic pickoff right there.
Really nice play, and then watch this. Makes the interception, and now he's trying to score. He's a guy that probably played some offense in high school.
There's also a face mask on the guy that tackled him, running back George Atkinson III. So they tack on 15 more. And he's down now to the 15-yard line of the Raiders. Good pick. Well, I'll tell you what, they want the defensive backs, and we see this in practice, Rich. They want them playing on the edge. They want them being able to move inside. They like the versatility of all these defensive backs.
We've got a lot of good young corners, Kevin. Again, difficult decisions at that position, too. Certainly, special teams will factor into it. But great interception. Now you've created a great scoring opportunity for your offense. Now we've got a different quarterback in the game, Marquise Williams. Now in at quarterback, and a chance for him to finish off this drive at the 15-yard line.
Rookie free agent from North Carolina. Played in the second half last week against the Browns, and here he lines up. You see his numbers from last week. Packers have gotten 2 takeaways, 1st and 10. He'll go to the air. And his legs, the best part of his game. Boy is brought down on the play by Drew Hiddings, who's a rookie free agent out of South Dakota.
Boy, the Packers have always had quarterbacks that can run. You know, Aaron Rodgers can run. Brett Favre had great legs. Look at some of these young quarterbacks, Brett Hundley, Williams, Callahan. You have to be able to move at that position to last.
2nd down and 3 coming up. Gain of 7 on that run. Rookie free agent Leon Orr is down right now as we step aside. Here comes the quarterback, Marquise Williams. Picks up a yard on 2nd down and 3. And he gets down near the 7-yard line of the Raiders.
But the officials helping us out, Kevin, letting us come back from our commercial break.
But Rich, you've been out selling commercial time for the last 4 months. You got to get
true.
these things in.
You got to pay for the broadcast.
Yeah,
find a way to get it done.
Pay for your salary. That's right. You get an NFL MVP up in the booth, baby. You got to make sure his pockets are lined.
Oh, big 3rd down here. Again, this could be 4-down territory for the Packers. Up 17-6, a preseason game. And you got a communication issue, communication breakdown, timeout by the young quarterback. Look at all the plays on his. The big challenge for him, Kevin, is he was signed late in the spring, is just getting up to speed with the terminology and the verbiage of the offense. It's not an easy system to learn. There are so many formations and protections and shifts and motions. And a lot of responsibility on the quarterbacks, even when it comes to the running game. So much of the running game is predicated on what the defense is doing at the line of scrimmage. Where is the down safety? You know, away from a rotation. And a lot of that is placed on the quarterback to get him in and out of plays.
Rich, you take a look there at Ted Thompson, 63 years old, longest run as a general manager. Packers history. 9 have had the title. He's had the longest run.
I love the fact, Kevin, he's down on the field during the game. Well, he wants to see the players coming on and off the field. He wants to see how the players communicate with the coaches. He wants to see how the players talk with one another. And, you know, you get a different feel for the game when you're on the sideline. And I think that's a brilliant move by Ted Thompson. This is all part of the evaluation process. He'll watch the tape of the game, the film of the game, but he gets a chance to watch him play down in person.
Fake to Brandon Ross, 3rd down and 2. Here comes the pressure. Calhoun's got him, and Calhoun brings him down.
Really nice
about the
play.
16. Yeah, it was. Played it well.
This is not an easy quarterback to get on the ground. He's got good speed, but Calhoun very disciplined, doesn't overrun it, and is able to come back and find a way to get the sack.
Only 3, by the way, we just saw Ted Thompson. Only 3 general managers have been around longer than Thompson in the NFL. Bill Belichick, who's got the dual role in New England. Ozzie Newsome, the longtime GM in Baltimore. And Mickey Loomis with the New Orleans Saints.
Some pretty good company, right?
Yeah, pretty good company.
What do those teams all have in common? They've all won a lot of football games. You don't stay in that position very long if you can't win.
They've all won Super Bowls in the last handful of years. Here is a field goal of 34 yards, and it goes through from Mason Crosby. Kicked 2 54-yarders last week. He's got a 26-yarder earlier and a 34-yarder right there. Packers extend their lead 20-6 over the Raiders with 6:23 to go.
If you're a right guard, you might not always be playing with Brian Bulaga. You know, so you want to put another tackle out there. I think that the combinations, you've got different centers, you know. Corey Lindsley's been hurt. J.C. Treader in there. You look at the relationship between T.J. Lang and Brian Bulaga. You know what happens when Don Barkley jumps in there. The same thing can be said at the receiver position. The quarterback's working with a different tandem of receivers, the tight ends, and how they work with the tackles, Kevin, in their blocking schemes and the running game responsibilities, how they communicate with one another, the calls they make up front. Defensively, the same thing. You know, you're playing your nose tackle, you're playing with a different 3 technique next to you. You're a linebacker. You know, you're playing with a younger player. You can help them out. So that's really important. And I said earlier in the broadcast, you know, you look at Clay Matthews talking on the sidelines, Darren Purdy there, the secondary coach. You know, the older players in this organization, when I came into the league, the older players did help the young players. You're on your own. This situation's so different. This is a team. And the older players look out for the younger players. The older players help the younger players. They coach them up on the sidelines. They're invested. They pay attention. They're not over there, you know, on the sidelines not paying attention. You watch when the team is on the field. The guys in the street clothes are standing there cheering them on. Cobb's in the game. You see Aaron Rodgers with the headpiece, the headset in there. He's listening to the play entry, the selection. He's playing the game. He's getting a mental rep. That's how you stay involved. That's how you get better each time out.
Johnny Holton will bring it out to the 20-yard line. He's brought down. He had a pass reception of 21 yards a little bit earlier in the game. Dorland brings him down. He's from Northern Iowa. We have a couple of affiliates in the state of Iowa watching, and there's a rookie free agent.
I think if you're from Northern Iowa, you got to make a decision, do you not? You have to you're either a Packer fan or a Vikings fan in that area.
Probably a Bears fan too. You're in Kansas City.
Yep.
That's Kansas City Chiefs territory as well. But the fact that we've got a couple TV stations in Iowa,
it's a good sign.
I think it is. Unless they want to have more Rich Gannon. Push down in 10, which I think they do. Handoff here goes to Atkinson.
Whoops.
Fennell.
There's no reason for that.
No, just got whistled as he shoved the back of Matt McCants. Gain of 2 on the play.
We've seen 2 personal fouls now on defensive players tonight, and that's something that's got to get cleaned up.
One on Dayton Jones.
Yep, early in the game, and you got to be able to have poise in those situations. You can't have that selfish act where you retaliate. They always get the guy that retaliates in those situations.
C87. Oh, we just missed him.
Well, you're going to see McCants right here. He throws him down. Then he hits him when he's on the ground. And Mike Bunnell doesn't like that. He's going to get up there.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Offense number 73 initiated the altercation. Half the distance of goal. Down counts. Second down.
Oh, they actually called that on the Packers or the
Raiders.
And the Raiders.
There's a look at Jack Del Rio. He was a 9-year head coach in Jacksonville. They made the playoffs twice while he was there. Went to Denver and became the defensive coordinator for John Fox. Played 11 years in the NFL.
Teammate of mine in Minnesota.
He was, yeah. Played in Kansas City. He was a linebacker coach, I think, for that great team in Baltimore that won a championship back in, 2000, 2001?
2000.
One of the greatest defenses in the history of pro football. 2nd and 19. Connor Cook.
Oh, there's a good tackle.
Ryan Price. Texas San Antonio was in there among a couple guys. Also Tyler Cooter, Idaho State.
It's apparent to me that the backups for the Packers are a whole lot better than the backups
We
for
saw
the
it
Raiders.
last week against Cleveland.
Oh, it's not even close.
You're exactly right.
And I think it speaks to the depth and talent that they have, Kevin, in a lot of key positions. And I'm talking about on both sides of the football.
There are probably a dozen scouts upstairs in the press box from other teams watching this game, and I guarantee you, when the cuts come from Green Bay, they are all over it. 3rd and 18. Screen pass to Atkinson, getting blocks all over the place, including from Colton Underwood, a Illinois State tight end, and he springs him for 15, yet shy of the first down to the 27-yard line, and the punting unit will take the field.
Kevin, you mentioned George Atkinson,
the third,
his performance last week. Look, this kid's going to be a good player.
He is.
I mean, he's got some speed. He's got some shiftiness to him. He's a tough tackle in the open field. I'm wondering if that's George Atkinson's son.
You know what? I'm going to let
George
you kind of
Atkinson
squirm
played for
bit.
the Oakland Raiders.
I'm going to let you squirm and think about that.
I think he is. I think there's a relationship there.
Marquette King. Ooh, he gets off. Look at this punt. Holy smokes. He sends Davis inside the 10. "66-yard punt." So what was that question you were asking just a second ago?
It wasn't a question, Kevin. It was a statement.
Oh,
There's a relationship between George Atkinson, the great Raiders safety, and George Atkinson III.
George Atkinson Jr. played 10 seasons.
While the kick was in the air,
including a Super Bowl.
illegal block in the back. Kicking team number
Bill Vinovich.
Number 32. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. Green Bay keeps the ball. first down.
Bill Vinovich is also a college basketball official. We've seen him a couple times in the NCAA tournament. And he's a good one.
The more you can do, Kevin. That's all I always say.
There's another referee in the NFL who's also a college basketball ref. Does a lot of Big Ten games. Lives in the Pittsburgh area. Gene
Steratore.
Yes.
We have our own trivia. We have our own trivia game. Make sure I'm paying attention up here in the booth.
Here's Brandon Ross. Brandon Ross was cut by the Vikings in mid-May, but they love his speed. He loses 7 right there. Wasn't fast enough to get out of the way. Push him back to the 19-yard line of Green Bay.
You see Spriggs still in the game, and some guys are going to play a lot of snaps, and they're anxious to see their second-round draft pick out of Indiana, Jason Spriggs. Really played well last week.
He did. Then he had Mack across from him tonight.
Then he found out about Khalil Mack. He's going to be a good one once he figures things out. He's got the length that you love at that position. I think he's got good feet. Every timeout is a learning experience for a young player.
With the inverted wishbone on second down and 17, and once again they give it to Ross. Flag is thrown. Ross, but going to go to this. You take a look at the players drafted. We've seen a lot of Kenny Clark. We have not talked about Fackrell.
He's going to be a good player. Once
Yeah.
he's a good edge player. Kevin can come off the edge and with a good rush. They got to learn, change it up a little bit. But 4 of the first 5 players drafted by the Packers were defensive players.
Look at Murphy's played a lot tonight. Trevor Davis had a good punt return. And they like it. He's the fastest of the wide receivers for Green Bay. They want to see more of Lowry. Played for Pat Fitzgerald down at Northwestern. 3rd and 17. And Ross losing 2. He led the Big Ten in yards per carry, did Brandon Ross a year ago at Maryland. But he saw a lot of white and silver right there and not a lot of breathing space. So Mastay will punt again for Green Bay.
Oh, got it.
They did. And there it goes. And a score. Touchdown. It was recovered in the end zone by Nate Allen. It was blocked on the play by Brendan Troick, who used to play for Baltimore and who John Harbaugh liked, but is now free and gets in there. And let's again confirm he was the guy to get it.
Yeah, they don't handle it. He gets a good run. He beats him right across the inside, and you just can't allow that to happen.
Troick is a veteran.
Darius Gunter. He gets beat across his face. And Tim Mastay has no chance in that situation.
By the way, this team blocked 5 field goals or PATs a year ago. And there was a blocked punt, so they are really geared in. Tavecchio will try the extra point. Packers only had 1 kick blocked all of last season. Tavecchio with the extra point, and it clanks off the left upright. I don't know how many people in the stands know that he was in Packer camp back in 13. Let's see how the hold is. Well, Marquette King, he's their holder.
Yep. That makes a difference. I mean, that would have made it a 7-point game. Now it's an 8-point game. If the Raiders do, in fact, get the ball back at some point, Kevin, score, they've got to go for 2 to even tie it. You can't take them for granted. Since that rule change a year ago, these extra points are no longer a gimme.
And I like that. Do you?
I do. I think it makes it interesting, especially here in Green Bay when it gets into November and December. You know, you talk to Mason Crosby, he'll tell you that that's not an easy thing to do. The wind starts howling around here, and field is rock hard, and it's not an easy thing to do. changes a little bit how you call the last 3 minutes of the game. They want to round the ball here a little bit, chew up some clock, get a couple first downs, and get out of here with a win against the Raiders. Raiders have all 3 of their timeouts left.
Packers have 2. Let's see what Tavecchio does here. Now, the last time Tavecchio kicked off, he chipped it up, kicking short of the goal line.
And look at the Packers, Kevin. They're anticipating.
They sure are.
They're anticipating an onside kick. I don't think it's going to happen in this situation. I think they dump the ball deep and play defense with 3 timeouts left and a little over 3 minutes to go in the game. And what happens is now you put everybody up here, and it really affects your ability to get a return in the event that the Raiders decide to kick the ball deep.
Trevor Davis is back at about the 15. Tavecchio will kick it into the end zone, and down it goes to the 25-yard line with a touchdown.
See, I don't understand that. If it was me, you had one guy back, you got everybody up front. I'm going to drop the ball down around the 10-yard line and make them return the football. But again, that's why I'm up here and I'm not coaching special teams.
Well, and again, you've got a lot of guys, like you mentioned earlier, who are not going to be playing, who haven't played special teams before. How little you think they've worked on onside kicks in practice.
Right.
They're just trying to get guys up to speed, and especially the kind of players that are in right now. These are all, second, third, and 14 players. Brees Williams.
Oh.
Nice run here, and it goes to Squirewell from Newberry. We talked about him, the converted defensive lineman. And he bangs his way for 7.
Look at the size of those arms. That is a big man coming downhill at you. 6 foot, 265 pounds.
We'll step aside. 2:53 to play. A timeout has been taken. Green Bay leads at 20-12 from Lambeau on the Packers television network. Carolina here is a run by Ripkowski. He picks up 2, carving his way up to the 34-yard line. Newberry is a evangelical Lutheran school. And that's where Squirewell played. He's the kind of guy that would be a good project on your practice squad.
Absolutely.
You can have 10 on your practice squad.
Right.
Of course, it was expanded, and now we're at 53 with the roster. But he might be one of those guys you keep on there, Rich.
Yeah, John Kuhn, Kevin, not going to be an easy guy to replace. No. They really like Aaron Ripkowski, but this is a good opportunity to show what you could do. And look, if you don't make the 53-man roster, maybe a chance to make the practice squad for the Green Bay Packers. We saw
there are worse things, right?
Oh yeah, you guys get elevated from the practice squad all the time up to the 53-man roster.
3rd and 1, Ripkowski, and he may be short of the first down as they. Well, now he scored at 3. Make it 2. Then he gets up to the 36, and he's got the first down. Clock continues to tick. Oakland a timeout. Green Bay 2. This will take us to the 2-minute warning, and they may call it a day after that. Raiders will fly back home. There's a lot of talk about this Raider team perhaps moving in the future. They're not getting a lot of response from the city of Oakland with the new stadium. It's been very disappointing. Very good chance this team may pick up and move.
Wind up in Las Vegas. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about that. And you're right, Kevin. They've been at it for a number of years. Just doesn't seem like there's any solution to a new stadium in Oakland.
It's tough. The Wisconsin Lottery presents the 2-minute warning. Packers scratch games are on sale now with a bonus drawing for a private suite for 2 games for 25 people. Learn more at WILottery.com. Even Grandma and the little guys enjoying Lambeau tonight. Recent graduate of the Rich Gannon School of Dancing, enjoying himself tonight.
I was proud of him. It took me a while to get him going, Kevin. I spent a lot of extra time with him after hours.
I can tell. Rich, you got to
work
be
on
proud.
that shake a little bit. We had to get his rhythm was a real issue.
Gain of 2. Squirewell to the 38. Well, Rich, the defense has played very well the first 2 games of preseason. A Couple question marks out there as you take a look at Squirewell. Hunley's ankle is going to be, I know, a topic after the game for the media. Good group it is to cover the Packers, and there will be some interesting stories here the next couple days.
I think the most impressive thing for me, Kevin, through the first 2 weeks of the season, the way they've run the football on offense,
yes,
and the way they've stopped the run on defense.
Williams Duany coming up in the Packers TV Network postgame report will name the Wisconsin Department of Transportation Player of the Game. We'll also look ahead to next week's exhibition game in San Francisco, actually Santa Clara in the San Francisco Bay Area. With the Packers visiting the 49ers, we expect Aaron Rodgers will play in that game. We'll get some final thoughts on tonight's game, all coming up in our postgame report.
Curious to see whether Colin Kaepernick will play next week. He's not been able to
shoulder
throw
issue.
He's not been throwing the ball.
They say,
he's
right,
not been
Rich?
throwing the ball in training camp. Blaine Gabbert right now would be the starter if the season were to begin today for
New
Chip
coach
Kelly.
Chip Kelly, new coach out there. Was it Philadelphia? Shoving after the play. That'll do it. And Green Bay's gone to 2-0 in the preseason. Packers had 146 yards on the ground. Talking about what Rich was excited about. Almost 36 minutes time of possession. Yeah, Jack Del Rio is going to bring a promising team into this 2016 season with the Raiders.
Well, won't be long now, Kevin. A couple of weeks and a couple more preseason games, and we'll be on to the real thing. Regular season football.
Does it still stand, Rich, that the third preseason game is that most important game still?
Well, I think it is for the Packers because, we're going to, you're almost certain we're going to see some of the starters, and Aaron Rodgers, I'd be very surprised, Kevin, if he doesn't play next week. And I'm sure that last preseason game we'll see less and less of the starters. So I think next week for the Packers, especially in light of the fact that the first game between the Packers and the Colts, the Hall of Fame game, was canceled, I think that there's even more emphasis on what happens next week. This will be a great week of practice and preparation for the Packers as they get ready to make their first trip in the preseason to the Bay Area to take on the 49ers. And I think we're going to get a chance to see Aaron Rodgers and some of the rest of the starters that we haven't seen through the first two preseason games.
And as we mentioned before, Aaron from that area, played at Cal, so that I guess would all make a lot of sense. We shall see, though, the way it transpires next week in San Francisco. Packers win this. We wrap it up after this.